Hey guys and welcome back to my channel. This is part 4 of What If Naruto Was the Chakra Sage. Before we begin, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and also go and support the author, link in description. Naruto, Hinata and Sasuke were waiting for Kakashi. Ever since the wave mission 2 weeks ago he hadn't been late, but now he was an hour late. And here I thought he wasn't going to be late. Hinata stated. I think you spoke for all of us. Sasuke added. That she did. Naruto finished, before Kakashi appeared. Sorry, I'm late. Junin meeting, which finished about 5 minutes ago, along with a little surprise from Kurenai. In fact, she told off Iruka after his outburst. Kakashi stated. The Hokage wanted me to stay behind and explain something to me and Iruka afterwards, and now you see why I'm late. Naruto, Sasuke and Hinata were surprised as that was actually legitimate, and can be proven. What, exactly, did Iruka speak up about? His students that are no longer his. Kakashi replied. In any case, he took out 3 pieces of paper and threw it to them. 1 week, Academy. Room 332, 1000 hours. If you want to go through the Chunin exams, sign those and be at that location. They all nodded. Until then, you are dismissed. And no missions. Kakashi left at that point. Naruto looked at Hinata, and she nodded. Naruto left in a fire shunshin, which prompted Hinata to look at Sasuke. For now, focus on your individual training, or relax. Your decision, but remember the plans. Sasuke shrugged. I'd go for relaxing. After the past few months, I seriously need some relaxation time. It was at that point, Sakura found them. There you are, Sasuke. Sakura said, running up to him. Please tell me you were admitted to the Chunin exams. What? Second thoughts on entering? Sasuke asked, eyebrow raised. Sakura shook her head. I'm above and beyond what I was in the academy. I'm not really worried about it, to be honest. I was just hoping that you were, so I can at least shut Ino up in front of you. I heard something about her planning to take you during the exams, no matter how low the chance of success is. Because of this, I figured I'd let you know, so you can actually expect her to try something. Unfortunately for her, I have bigger fish to fry in these exams. The blonde mind fucker is the least of my worries. Sasuke admitted, shocking Sakura a bit before shaking her head. I get it. Someone from another village found you and you want to take them down, or something. Maybe knock them down a few pegs. That, you'd have to ask Naruto. Or Kurenai-sensei. Hinata added, earning their attention. What? She's already in the know about this, as it involves one of her friends. Which, by the way, Naruto left to finally take care of the thing. You mean? Sasuke's eyes widened. Yeah, someone else in the village has it, but after today, it's likely to be gone. And that process has started, as of last night. Hinata continued, earning a smirk from Sasuke. It's about damn time, Sasuke said, the smirk never leaving his face. And the other project? Standard for both of us. He has the modified one, but he hasn't figured out much on designs for customization for us, much less be able to make them in time, so that's why we have the standard design. Hinata replied, before tossing him a scroll. It's in there, and would go under your usual clothing. There's a cloak as well, since your usual clothing wouldn't cover it all. The team logo we came up with is on all 3 of them, in the same spot. The titles we came up with for ourselves are also there. I don't need the cloak, which only has the team logo on the front, and your title on the back. Why didn't either of you get a custom one? Because there wasn't enough time to make a second one. And these 2 he made before he went for his. They're built to not only withstand Yuki, but become empowered by it. With Naruto on our team, we need it more than anyone else. Sasuke said. Also, if I get him designs, do you think he could make one? He can try. Not sure if he can, but it will take at least 3 weeks to have it made. The lack of materials is one problem, which he has covered with AC rank, but that will take a while. Hinata replied. Anything else we should know? Yeah, think he could make one for me as well. Sakura asked. Without your team logo, of course. I'm good with the standard, and that Yuki repulsing ability should come in handy. Oh, and why is that? Sasuke asked. Ran into a redhead from Sunagaka earlier. Sakura said, earning raised eyebrows. He seemed to have 2 chakra signatures. I learned a lot about sensory abilities, but I didn't pick up the other one until after I looked straight at him from maybe 10 feet away. Until then, I didn't even notice. It seemed dangerous. Hinata caught the look on her face and her eyes widened. Sasuke caught the reaction. Sakura. Name. Looks. We need that kind of information. Sakura raised an eyebrow at that. Do I even want to know why? Because if he turns his full fury on you, you'll die. Sasuke said, earning wide eyes. Out of our entire graduating class, if only the second chakra you found in him is the dangerous one, Naruto and I are the only ones that stand a chance against him. Naruto more so than me. Why him? Sakura asked. His bloodline finally activated, Hinata told her. It will be especially useful for people like Gaara. Sakura sighed at that, and nodded. Red hair, brownish-green eyes, kanji for love on his forehead. Left side. He seems to carry a giant gourd on his back everywhere. Sasuke and Hinata nodded at that. If he goes up to you, do not fight him. If it's an official match, forfeit before it even begins. Sasuke said, earning a nod, and then a look of shock as she turned to Hinata. How did you know his name? Took a guess. But Sasuke is right. Let your team know not to mess with him. If provoked, he may just kill you. If he doesn't, the least that is likely to happen is the end of your ninja career. Hinata replied, earning a look of awe from Sakura. This is no joke. If he is mentally unstable, as I heard he was, then there is nothing that will stop him once he gets in a killing mood. Even Naruto would be questionable in that. Sasuke. No chance. The Hokage, no chance. Why would only a genin be questionable, but the Hokage would have no chance? The Yondaime Hokage was said to have killed the Kyuubi, correct? Hinata asked, earning a nod. That was wrong. The Kyuubi is still alive, and being purified as we speak. The Yondaime couldn't kill it, but its cage is purifying it. Something that would actually give Naruto an advantage over him. His bloodline would easily seem hardwired for demon slaying. That's what Gaara has within him. That's just wrong, Sakura admitted. Don't tell me he was treated like a demon as well. From what I know, he has. Hinata admitted. Come on, Sakura, you and I need to talk. I already figured out about Naruto, just from what you said. Hinata and Sasuke tensed a bit. And right now, I could really care less if he was or not. He's not someone I'm worried about. I'm not going to go after him because he has more in him than Sasuke-kun. I'm good where I'm at relationship-wise, but I should still get stronger. Sasuke then took on a thoughtful look. You said you had perfect chakra control, right? Yeah, I always do. Sakura replied. Hinata, do you have one of those chakra cards? You want to see her affinities? Only to prove a theory. Hinata pulled one out and handed it to her. Channel chakra into it. The piece of paper was dripping wet, but didn't even sag. This surprised them both. Normally, it would sag a bit, due to the water dripping, but this one didn't. I'd say we seriously need to find out what this is. What the hell just happened? Sakura asked. I mean, I know it's water from the water dripping from it, but it didn't even sag. That's what I want to know. Sasuke admitted. They both looked at Hinata who had her back turned. I know it's water, but it should have sogged up enough for. Wait, here it is. If a person with only a water affinity has it at a high enough level, the Uzumaki chakra paper will. It was the next words that came up made her eyes widen. This is so wrong. Sasuke was surprised at the slight stutter at the beginning. Alright, what did you find out? Sasuke asked, curiously. Sasuke, have we told you how easy it was for Naruto to learn Winjutsu? Yeah, he could learn an S-rank Winjutsu in 5 hours flat. Why? Sakura is the same way. Except for one difference. Her element is water. And with her control. Don't tell me I have a similar affinity to the Nadaime. Sakura said, backing up to the edge of the bridge. If I do. Then what? Hinata asked. Then I'd probably have to be related to him. Hinata shook her head. Not a relation. Just as much of an affinity as he did. Officially. Contrary to popular belief, he also had wind. That's why he could pull the water out of the air. You have a higher affinity for water than he did. Hell, you have a higher affinity for water than I do. And that's saying something. It's beyond godlike, and with your control, which is a usual Haruno trait, by the way. I could pull it from the air. Sakura nearly shouted. This is good. This is really good. Don't let it get to your head. Sasuke warned. I almost did the same with my Sharingan. If not for Naruto, I would have let it get to my head. It wouldn't lead anywhere but the deep end. Sakura looked at him for a second and then nodded. A grin suddenly came over her face. I just got a crazy idea for our teams. Let the others think what they want on it. I'm listening, Hinata said, knowing that grin and the effects. Let's see how well the others react to our old personalities, at first. Me, as the helpless kunoichi known for nothing but her brain, Sasuke, the emo brooder, no offense. None taken. That's what I was back in the academy. Though you missed something. The arrogance that seems to have disappeared. Sakura asked, earning a raised eyebrow. What? I noticed, I just didn't care. That was a fangirl thing, even if you do see the faults you don't let on, or ignore them completely. Also, take care to note of my old screech. I've toned it down a lot, but if we're going that far back, it might come out. Please don't. Sasuke nearly paled. It's part of my old image, but I can tone that down a bit. Sakura admitted. Then there's one other thing. Ino doesn't know you have 2 girlfriends already, and she'd be livid if she found I was one of them. The old rivalry, which was a little stupid if you ask me now, would not let me put that down, and she'd play it off as a bluff. Hinata, there's the shy side of you, which would be known for a while. Only reveal our true strength when necessary, or to shock everyone that knows us. Mainly Team 10. The shy me has been outdated and the word of that has already gotten to the public. Hiding my new self is close to impossible. Outside of Haku, no one can claim to be able to keep Sasuke happy, because she didn't fawn over him, and still doesn't. If you want to hit Naruto for doing something stupid, like you did in the academy, well, you won't have to bother. I'll take care of that. A few words, and I can shut him up quickly. You should also let your team know. We'll let Naruto know, Sasuke said. Don't even let your sensei know about this. Sakura nodded with a smirk. I'll do that. By the way, I heard something about Naruto having 2 girlfriends. Aren't you worried, Hinata? You have competition. Is it competition if I let her in? Hinata asked, shocking Sakura. She loves him for him. Nothing more, nothing less. Plus, she's like him and Gaara. That would explain it. But wasn't she part of another village? Wouldn't they stop her? No, they wouldn't. They hated her, and she's now a full-blown citizen of our village. She's a civilian, but the council are under a bit of a threat regarding her. Anything happens to her, those who do will suffer mercilessly. This is at the hands of the Hyuga clan, and Naruto himself. Just then Fu landed right in front of them. Hinata. Great news. What? Hinata asked, suddenly curious. I'm pregnant. Hinata and Fu hugged and jumped. Does Naruto know? No, not yet, he doesn't. I haven't been able to find him. Look for Anko. He should be with her right now. The curse? Fu asked, earning a nod. Then it should wait until he's done. Hinata then heard Kyuubi's voice in her head. Hinata, Naruto is feeling your happiness right now. Since he's busy removing the curse seal, I decided to ask myself. What the hell just happened? Well, when was the last time Fu and Naruto had sex? 2 nights ago. You know that. Well, Fu is pregnant. Good news, yes. Oh, he is gonna love this. I'll let him know as soon as the curse is gone. Also, I felt something strange during their last release. Don't let them know this, though. I have no idea what it was, or how it was caused. Until we find out for sure, I will not say a word. Good idea, but I think Fu should know. It will affect her if it has anything to do with her Biju. You should have her ask the Nanabi if she felt something as well when it happened. Fu, I've got a question. Hinata started. What's up? Did the Nanabi feel anything when it last happened? Come to think of it, I found out before my checkup this morning and she said the same thing. She said it felt like a pull, or something like that. Did you catch that? That I did, and this doesn't seem good. She felt the pull, and I felt the pull as well. The results of this is not going to be good. Also, know that Naruto is likely to go wild with her during this time if she is leaking anything resembling hormones around him. He can control himself in public, but if there is no one else in the area, you not included, there's no telling what he'd do. Normally, a Jinchuriki would have an extra month for pregnancy. So you should let her know this. Hinata relayed the message to Fu, who nodded at that. An extra month. My mother always said that it was torture going through pregnancy. Sakura added, before a thought came to her. Wait, how do you know this? Naruto's mother was a Jinchuriki. She did die the day he was born due to the unsealing, which was forced. Hinata replied, before hearing laughter from Kyuubi. Okay, what's so funny? Oh, nothing much. Just the kid's reaction to Fu's condition, and when he let Anko know, who is completely fine. By the way, she reacted in a way that you would have before your little change. She fainted. I don't know why, but yeah, she did. After hearing something she said like that, Naruto fainted. I'm keeping the barrier up, so no one can find us while they are out of it. Find Kurenai, and tell her that it's done. And if she finds us, the blood on Naruto's nose was not because of what he saw from Anko, but because of what he heard. Seriously, I got him far more used to stuff like that before you even signed. Really? How? You don't want to know. Now I'm even more curious. You know his sexy jutsu, and his harem jutsu. Yeah, what about it? You want to know the effect of using them on him daily, as a lust-filled kitsune, flirting with you. Details. Kyuubi went into the exact details, and the other three present saw her nose bleed a little bit. Okay, now that, him and me, tonight, I'd want that. You know, you're radically different from your old self. So much so, it's surprising. You sure about that? Hinata asked. I mean sure I've changed, but that much. You have no idea. I should let Naruto know about this. Perhaps the two of you can figure it out, as I'm currently stumped for ideas. What about the tag-out incident? My mind seems to think a little differently since then. Well, shit. Being close to him during may have triggered some kind of change, but we can't figure out what the hell it is. I'm thinking a more perverted mind, with less effects. I'm actually somewhat like I always wanted to be. Maybe a little more than I hoped, with my shy attitude, but yeah. Confident, and strong. I'm both. Maybe it's been getting to your head. You'll have to get that checked out. Hinata was about to reply, but then turned her head. Fu did the same. Sasuke noticed this, and went on guard instantly. What is it? Sakura was confused at all this. Am I missing something? There was a shunshin seemingly made of sand. From it, Gaara, who Sakura immediately recognized and stood still, appeared. Where is Uzumaki? I can smell him among you. What you smell is me. Hinata admitted. Or it could be me, being pregnant. Fu added, especially since it's his child. The redhead looked at her. How many? Sakura was the only one confused by this. 7. You. Fu replied. 1. Gaara replied, before looking at Sakura. Get lost. Now. Sakura shook her head. You're like Naruto and Fu. Why should I just because you hold a biju? Gaara tensed. Before you ask, they told me. Is she in the loop? Gaara asked, confusing her again. No, she isn't. Sasuke replied. And she won't be until it truly involves her. Sakura looked at him. What do you mean? This is something you're better off not knowing until you're so deep in its ass, you'd be popping out of its mouth. Sasuke told her. If you were told now, you'd freak, and tell someone. I'm not risking that just yet. We still need a degree of secrecy here. Unfortunately, or fortunately in your case, you're not involved much, if at all. Okay, what about Haku? In direct relation, but not completely involved. Sasuke replied. What she knows, she got from Naruto, not me. You don't trust me, is that it? Sakura asked. If it were that, I'd just tell you to scram instead of saying what I have so far. The less people know, the better. Sasuke told her. Sakura looked at him and nodded. I expect some answers later. And you'll get them when it's necessary. Sasuke told her, before turning to Gaara. Any other news? Not that she should be aware of. Gaara replied. Sakura looked at him warily, and then turned to see Sasuke nod. Alright, fine, I'll go. But you better make it up to me. Sakura told him, earning a nod. She ran off. Hinata looked at Sasuke. You know she's going to want to pick out how you make it up to her. And if it's information, then it's a no-go. Sasuke told her. Anyway, what's the news? Gaara spoke for a bit. The others nodded. That is all I have. From here on out, use the Tanuki for that kind of information. Fu told him. That's bound to be a lot better. Also, I'm surprised you're not as bloodthirsty as the Tanuki claimed you were. Hinata added. That was mainly a cover for me, to be used until my idiot of a father is dead. Which it seems he is already dead. Gaara admitted. No one else has noticed, however. Only me. Are you going to let Uzumaki know? He ended up asking. Hinata and Fu nodded. Meanwhile, in the Forest of Death. Naruto and Anko were unconscious, though Naruto was waking first. Damn, what happened? About time you woke up. I was beginning to think you'd be out of it all night. Aw, shut it. Anyway, did it work? See for yourself. Naruto got up, saw Anko's half-naked body, and looked continuously at the neck. Okay, it would seem like it's gone. Corruption levels. Wow, it went down far. Naruto put his hand on her shoulder, only to pull away the moment another mark appeared. It was different from the one before, going from 3 commas to 2 fangs. That's new. Anko then seemed to wake. What happened? She groaned, before noticing Naruto in the area. Did it work? It's purified, that's for sure. Naruto said. However, it seems that something else has replaced it. The symbol even changed. Anko was surprised, and checked for herself. Fangs. I don't get it either. Naruto admitted. Try to access it. If it's still corrupted I'll be able to sense it. Anko just looked at him incredulously. Don't look at me like that. This is something we have to learn on the fly. She sighed, and closed her eyes. The mark started to glow a silver, and then spread. Naruto was ready for anything that could come out, especially if she were to attack. The moment she stood up she looked at him. Well, what's the verdict? Naruto stared at her intently, and then nodded. It's good. It seems to be completely purified. However, there is one more thing that I think must be done. Only as a safety precaution, though. She looked confused, so he turned around and showed his shoulder blade. This is what I'd be giving you. It will prevent mind-altering seals, such as the old curse mark, or the caged bird seal, and get rid of them as they are placed, before they can set in. Anything on the body already will not be affected. That's the result of testing long ago, at least. She nodded. I trust you. Naruto went behind her and drew the markings. When he started to activate it, she grunted. After a few seconds, he sighed. It's done. No one can know that you have it, though. Also, know that no one can find out that your mark has been purified, so no one has to seal it again. Wait, wasn't it sealed before? It's not anymore, but anything that it would do to your mind will be stopped. It's a piece that we figured out while using it ourselves. Also, the Yamanaka clan's mind transfer jutsu will not affect you period. You are not able to be possessed, as the mark would expel them immediately. Sweet. That's a nice defense. I know, isn't it great? Naruto asked, earning a nod. You should head home and get some rest. Wait, are you taking the Chunin exams? Yeah, why? If you make it to the second part, I'm putting your team in the northeast sector. Sweet. That'll help us, Naruto told her. Enko reined in the mark, and it went back easily. Looks like it listens to you. I know, Enko said before she turned around. Let's get going. I've got a few things to take care of in the forest. If this is where the second portion is, then my team is going to have an advantage. For this reason, I think I should play my advantage to the max. Naruto had a smirk on his face, which made Enko grin. I'll see you later. He jumped into the forest. Enko huffed, and jumped off. I really wanted to see him use that flame teleport again. It's really cool. She left the forest and found Hinata and Kurenai right there. She landed right in front of them. What's up, Kurenai? I heard he just performed it. Kurenai replied. I want to see if it worked. Better than I hoped. Enko replied, before marks started spreading. Kurenai jumped back, but Hinata didn't. You're now in full control of it, aren't you? Hinata asked. Sure am. Enko grinned. He even noticed that the shape of the mark changed. It went from the commas that it was before to a pair of fangs. Kurenai was still on guard, but walked up to her. Kurenai, there is nothing that can be done to get rid of it, but he did manage to purify it. For that, I'm thankful. Also, she revealed the other seal she got. So, he even gave you that? Hinata asked. Sure did. Hurt a bit, but nowhere near as much as the snake bastard's mark. You know that mark? Kurenai asked. Of course, Hinata said before showing it on herself. After all, I've got it on myself. It'll help protect bloodlines, and if Orochimaru tries to activate the seal he placed, the one on her will either stop it, or it won't work period. They both looked at her in surprise. Sure, he could have just placed it, but then you'd still be in danger of the corruption, and he didn't want that. He either wanted the whole thing, or any threat to Yugon. Either one worked. He went back to training until he drops. I'm not fond of it, but I know he wanted nothing more than to get rid of thing. Kurenai nodded at her, after realizing just how close the two were. I'm glad you're in control of it, and it won't hurt you. I'll admit it stings a little, but I think that's because it's not originally my chakra. So, I can't use it all the time, unless I get used to it. Enko said. Well, then I guess we're done with everything regarding the curse. Is Naruto nearby? Hinata asked, earning a nod from Enko. Alright, can you let him know that Fu and I have information on that? It'll happen back at the house. Enko and Kurenai looked at each other and nodded. Hinata left after that. Enko reined in her mark. Well, that was strange. What do you think she was talking about? No idea, Kurenai admitted, before a bright orange, with hints of white and yellow in it, flame appeared. They both stared at it, on their guard. Enko, I noticed you activated the mark. The voice it emitted sounded eerily similar to Naruto. Wait, you can monitor it? Enko asked, surprised. Surprised me too. I also saw that Kurenai-sensei and Hinata were there as well. You weren't showing off, were you? No, I wasn't, Enko replied, earning a confused look from Kurenai. I didn't think you'd be able to monitor it. Neither did I, to be honest. I think it's because my bloodline is what was used, but I can't be sure, to be honest. If it doesn't stop after my chakra is gone from your system, then we'll know it's a permanent effect. Good to know. Anything else I should know? I can't seem to monitor to chakra levels from this distance, so the mark won't allow me to do so. I only know when you activated it, and when you stopped using it. The flow of it is beyond me. Good to know. I think this is something that I'd have to get used to. Wait until after your part in the Chunin exams. And expect a lot of screams from the forest. The moment you told me you'd pull every ace you had, I kind of expected it, to be honest. Enko admitted. And that's why you and I are close. You understand how I think, and vice versa. Tell me about it, Enko replied. Kurenai then realized that the flame was projecting Naruto's voice. Naruto, what exactly did you do to her? Simple. After a pause, which caused Kurenai to learn closer unconsciously, and Enko to hide a grin. It's my bloodline. Kurenai face-faulted at the answer, and Enko released a laugh. Now that I've had my fun for the day, I think I'll get back to work preparing the forest, and then head home. But before I do, Enko, why don't you try dating Iruka Yumino? He was the only one in the academy that didn't hate me for you know what. Enko stopped laughing when she heard that. Are you sure? He said in front of both me and the Hokage that he thinks of me as a brother. He even refused when an S-class secret regarding my parents was about to be told to me, saying if anyone would have to know besides me, it's him. So he truly cares for you? Enko asked. Yeah, but I'll be the first to admit he didn't seem like it at first. In hindsight, it took him a while to see who I really was, but at least he made the effort to actually look beyond reputation and see the real being. Look underneath the underneath, so to speak. Hey, well, if he's good in your books, then he's good in mine. I might actually try this out, Enko said, feeling a grin on the other side of the flames before it disappeared. Well, I'm out. I'm going to rest up before asking him tomorrow. Kurenai looked at her incredulously. You place that much faith in him? If anything, I trust his word. I also felt that he seemed happy when I said I'd give it a chance. Enko retorted. The next day, Enko was walking up to the academy, which was just let out. She found the scarred Chunin leaving as well. Enko, what are you doing here? Iruka asked. Looking for you. She held up a hand when he looked like he was about to ask a question. Any questions will be answered later during our little date. Iruka was surprised, and it showed. Okay. What the hell is going on? This is the only thought going through his head. She grabbed his hand, and took him elsewhere. They ended up in a training area, which seemed like it was abandoned long ago. Why are we here? If this were a date. It's secluded. One of the few places in the area that are. The only other ones happen to be the Forest of Death, which is actually my favorite, to be honest, and right behind the Hokage monument. Iruka saw the reasoning. What she wanted to talk about was supposed to be private, and so was what he wanted to know. Alright, I don't get what kind of game you're playing. What do you truly think of Naruto Uzumaki? Enko asked, surprising Iruka with the reference. Are you one of those that would kill him if they got the chance? Iruka countered, a little anger in his voice. Enko picked it up and smirked. That's not a no, but a hell fucking no. Enko ended up shouting, surprising Iruka. The blonde Gaki is like a brother to me, and he's the only reason I bothered to ask anyone out. Iruka then smiled. That answered my only question before all this. Enko looked at him. As for your question, he's always been like a brother to me. At least, after I found out he was like me in way. Always looking for attention, even if it was the wrong kind. I never told him the extent of how much we were alike in the academy, but if you saw him before he discovered his heritage, even if only by accident, you'd have a pretty good idea of who I was way back when. And your first response was to see if I would hurt you for actually being close to him. Pretty much, Iruka admitted. I care for him a lot, even treated him to ramen from time to time. I couldn't every day, as he cleaned me out each time, but still if I died because of being close to him, he wouldn't like it. Enko smiled at that. It wasn't the sadistic smile that everyone else saw on her, and it surprised Iruka. This smile was a genuine smile, one he only saw on Naruto recently. Yeah, she's happy I'm actually close to him, and wouldn't want to harm him. He smiled himself. And she's the same way. Naruto, you're one sly fox. You got two people together that no one would guess. They ended up talking for a while, but then Iruka's stomach growled. Sounds like somebody's hungry. Enko teased, before her own stomach growled. Looks like I'm not the only one. Iruka countered. Luckily, I was able to save money due to a lack of Naruto asking for ramen, even refusing it once, so I can actually afford a rather large meal. Then what do you say we go see if he's at Ichiraku's himself? Enko suggested. At least to thank him, if not eat there. I'll be the first to admit ramen is not my favorite, but everyone knows that. Ruruka smiled. Yeah, dango would be your favorite, unless I'm mistaken. She giggled at that. Hey, I pay attention to everything I can. All Chunin know of your dango fanaticism, and from what I can tell, it's on par with Naruto being a rameniac. Rameniac? Enko asked, confused with the term. You mean to tell me he likes ramen as much as I love dango? She got a nod in response. Well, considering the fact that those at Ichiraku's were glad he kept coming is good enough of a reason to like it. No one else wanted anything to do with him. I'm surprised he didn't come to the dango stand I came to. They didn't care about me being there. In fact, they liked my presence. Well then, let's go. Ruruka replied, before they jumped off towards Ichiraku's. They found that no one was there. Well, looks like he's not here. Ruruka said, sad. Ruruka, it's been a while since you've been here. Not treating Naruto to ramen lately? Chuki asked. Actually, he's been too busy to even talk with me until recently. It wasn't until a few weeks back that I was actually able to talk to him, much less do anything else. Yeah, he hasn't been coming back until recently either. Ayame admitted. He said it was because something big has come up, but I've actually gotten a bit worried about him. You two were always so kind to him. Enko said, surprising them. And here I thought you wouldn't be here. You normally go over to Onamaru's shop for dango. Chuki said, finally realizing Enko was there. You're his #1 customer. And Naruto's yours. Enko replied. I actually came here to see if he was here, but if he was, I missed him. Well, that's where you're wrong, Enko. A voice said behind him. They all knew it was Naruto, but were surprised when they saw Hinata and Fu with him, as the three of them sat down. I was actually on my way, to be honest. Enko gave a pleased grunt. Glad you could make it. Naruto smiled at her. If I have your taste buds right, you'd probably want the Sai ramen. Sai? Enko asked, confused. You like dango so much, and the Sai ramen here is actually what I get when I feel my sweet tooth acting up. Naruto admitted. However, today I'm feeling like chicken ramen. Hinata nodded. I'll take miso. I'll go for Sai ramen, as well. Fu stated. Looks like I'll try the Sai ramen. Enko added. The usual for me, Chuki. Ruruka stated. Coming right up. Chuki finished all 5 bowls and Ayame placed them in 10 seconds flat. Enko was surprised at the speed. That was quick. With Naruto, you learn to be quick, or you'll be overworked fast. Ayame admitted. Naruto had already finished his bowl, as did Fu. More please. Naruto and Fu said simultaneously. See what I mean? Ayame asked, before placing a second bowl in front of them. Enko nodded, before tasting her own ramen, surprised at the taste. This is. She ate the rest of the bowl, during the time it took Naruto and Fu to reach their 10th bowls. Of all the things I expected, this was not one of them. Everyone looked at her. What do you mean? Naruto asked. His 10th bowl finished. This is. And I'll have to apologize to someone. The best thing I've ever tasted. Enko ended earning a grin from Naruto. I knew you'd like it. No worries. I won't let Onamaru know about you eating here. Chuki replied. Consider it a thanks for complimenting the food here when you're the #1 customer from a competitor. Thanks, but I still think I'd have to apologize to him. Enko admitted. He and I are like you and Naruto. Chuki was a little surprised at this, but looked at Ayame, who nodded while hiding her smirk. After you all are done, we're closing up. Enko, Naruto, we'll need to talk about something. Naruto and Enko were confused. It has to do with Onamaru's shop as well as ours. Ayame admitted, earning nods from the two. What about us? Hinata asked. If it goes through, we'll let you know as well. If not, there's no need for it. Ayame told her. Hinata, Fu, and Iruka nodded seeing as it would involve their #1 customers more than anyone else. After 20 minutes, everything was closed. Enko and Naruto were in Chuki's living room, in front of Ayame and Chuki. Alright, what did you really want to see us for? Naruto asked. I'm going to start off by saying I'm probably an idiot for refusing my daughter's idea. Chuki admitted. What do you mean? Enko asked, annoyed. The idea he's talking about is merging our ramen with Onamaru's dango. Double the business, and better areas. Maybe even exchanging recipes. Ayame said, earning surprise from Enko and Naruto. And why didn't you take it, old man? Naruto asked. I wasn't sure if he'd like you in his shop, regardless of me wanting you to be there. Chuki admitted. I mean, to me, you're more than just a customer. Always have been. You're more like a son to me. And that's the same extent to Anamaru and me. Father and daughter. Much better than my own father, who by the way disowned me. Enko added. Anything else? Actually, I was wondering if you'd go ask him for us. Ayame admitted. After all, you are more familiar with him, and if we ask, he wouldn't like it, thinking we'd try to buy him out. I get it, Enko replied. You want it to happen, but if you don't do so a certain way. She was cut off by Naruto. They'll get the wrong idea, and reject it immediately. So by asking their number one to ask about it, they might actually consider it. Enko finished, cutting off Naruto. They both looked at each other, surprised they came to same conclusion. That was weird, they said simultaneously, confusing Ayame and Chuki. Are your minds linked or something? Chuki asked. I wish, Enko said, while Naruto was silent for a second. It is now, he ended up saying after a few seconds. Isn't that right, Enko? What are you talking about, Gaki? Enko asked. What do you mean? He didn't say anything, Chuki said. You're right, I didn't say anything, Naruto replied, stressing the word say, which only Enko caught. Please don't tell me he knows the telepathy jutsu. Okay, I don't know the telepathy jutsu. Naruto looked at her silently, though she heard the words. You're talking with telepathy, aren't you? Bingo, Naruto replied, but I wasn't lying when I said I don't know the telepathy jutsu. It's called the mind link jutsu. That has got to be cool. It is, except there are times when you don't want your thoughts broadcast to everyone on the link, which includes Hinata, Fu and her tenant, Sasuke, and surprisingly, Jiraiya of the Sannin. Wait, why is Jiraiya on the list? Enko asked, confused. Godfather, that I found out about while finding out everything I could about my father. Naruto admitted. He admitted that he didn't do anything because of his own guilt, and having to find the one that did wrong to you, and isn't in the village. Now he's after the ones that are after me. Who are they? Snake Bastard was one of them at first. He left, but that leaves them. From what I found out recently, Deidara of Iwa and Sasori of the Red Sands are among them. S-class rogues together? Enko asked, surprised. They must be up to something. They are, and there's nothing we can do about it right now. Naruto admitted. For now, we ignore them. They have not actively done anything to warrant action against them. Don't worry, I know of their existence, and have been thinking of something, along with several others. They have one of their targets, as we couldn't get word to him beforehand. The other 8, myself included, are already in the know. Be glad I'm prepared for something big for a change. Enko smiled. You really have come a long way after all this. Chuki and Ayame smiled at this. You really have come a long way. Although, a group of genin managed to get inside our stand and switch our flower with daisies. Any idea why they did that? I'd either ask Tsuyuki Haruno, or Hiyashi Hyuga about that. I didn't ask for that one. Naruto admitted. It's a way to improve our genin with a kind of mock situation for war, just without the danger. So you're the reason pranks are going everywhere every now and then. I'm also the one that has been remodeling the Anbu HQ and Hokage Tower defenses. Pointing out their flaws, and even screwing with their pride is fun as hell. Naruto admitted, a smile on his face. I had full reign with them, and believe me when I say, I went all out. Chuki, Ayame, and Enko paled when he said that, for they knew one fact. When Naruto Uzumaki goes all out in traps, pranks, and the like, anyone who is aware of his skill will fear it. Anbu, Root, the Hokage, even the torture and interrogation division fear his true skill. Enko then gained a smirk. I almost pity the poor bastards that try to get past them, and end up activating them. Oh, and did I mention there is one prank I did that I denied in the face of Hiyashi Hyuga, and he went along with it? Which one? Chuki asked. You remember a few months back, right after I graduated from the academy? Naruto asked, earning 3 nods. The string of pranks around that time was so devious they were wondering if Naruto had a rival. That was me, about 30 shadow clones, dozens of seals, and an infiltration mission, all at once. This ensured a giggle from Ayame, who suspected as much, and gaping mouths from Chuki and Enko. Is anyone surprised I managed to earn a title such as the Demon King of Pranks? They all shook their heads, Enko and Chuki still gaping. Ayame, being the most notable at this point, spoke up. I figure you more than earned that title. Though, you normally don't like when people call you a demon. True as that is, I like this one because it's one I earned, not one I was branded with by those that didn't know me. It is one that I can actually be proud of, because I can scare the pants off an emotionless bastard from root, and believe me when I say I have, and still go on unhindered. Naruto admitted with a smirk. I don't want to brag, but my ability with pranks and traps are nothing short of godlike, and that is something I earned, not had in my blood, though that is still questioned by even myself. As do I, Chuki admitted. After all, looking back now, I can see two others that had similar skill to you, though noticeably smaller. They dated for a few years, but I never heard anything of a marriage between them. The Yondaime and Kushina Uzumaki, I presume? Naruto asked, earning a nod from Chuki. It's a wonder why they never married, if you ask me. Chuki admitted. I mean, come on, was he truly so dense that he couldn't tell he was loved deeply by her, or was he just playing her? No, and no, Naruto replied, earning a confused look. Their marriage was kept secret, but I know of it. Surely you can figure out everything from there. You're not stupid, or blind, to notice the similarities. Chuki had a confused, but thoughtful, look on his face, but then his eyes widened in realization. No, it couldn't be. Their son. Enko looked at Naruto. Yeah, Enko. They happened to be my parents, and no one was to know. I give them a clue as to my knowledge, and they figure it out from there. If they don't bother to believe it, then it's highly likely they don't truly believe I have the heritage. What do you mean, Dad? I mean, sure he looks like the Yondaime, but are they truly related? I'm completely confused. They wouldn't treat him like that if he were. Iyame said. Considering the fact I was not aware of it, I think that anyone that already knows of it, or knew of it from the beginning is either dead, or forced to keep it secret under penalty of death. I'm not stupid enough to not notice the signs, and for a time, I really wished he was Kushina's son. They act too much alike to think otherwise, but I was forcing myself to think it was a false hope. So, you actually thought it was possible, but kept finding ways to not believe it, for some reason? Naruto asked, his tone emotionless. I figured I was deluding myself, to be honest with you. Chuki admitted. If it is true, and I had known about it, I would have tried adopting you myself. Now that I think on it, Kushina didn't come for 9 months before she was reported dead. Minato always came for takeout during that time, as well. His eyes widened in realization, and then he smacked his forehead. I truly am an idiot. Naruto raised an eyebrow. She really was pregnant, and I didn't even think about that possibility. You truly are their child, aren't you? Chuki asked, earning a nod. Then I'm glad I at least got to know you. But seriously, why didn't they say anything on it? I know I got my looks from my father, but from what you saw, what did I actually get from my mother? Naruto asked. Her personality, Chuki replied, and her surname, though I have to ask, how long have you known and kept it from me? A month before I graduated. That's when I found out. In fact, it was right after my prank on the Inuzuka, resulting in a temporary disappearance act from me. That's why I didn't see you for the next month. Actually, that's why my clone didn't see you. Naruto admitted. They don't need to eat, and some of them, depending on the chakra type one put in them, can last for a day, or weeks. Chuki nodded. Also, I know that he was working on some secret projects. I'm still wondering how many he managed to finish before he was done. He truly only had 3 ready for testing. Another 34, and yes I counted, were close but not there yet. There are several thousand others that he either didn't even come close, or didn't even start working on, but they were still ideas. I've finished the ones he was close to finishing, tested those that were ready, and even made my own project, combining at least 20 others. My project is finished, and I intend to unveil it during the upcoming Chunin exams. I'm actually pleased with my project. By using those ideas I can truly be a lot more dangerous, especially if I go another route. Are you talking about that armor you mentioned in the council? Chuki asked. You were there at that point, weren't you? Naruto asked, earning a nod. Then yeah, it is. And yes, it's done. Believe me when I say, I still haven't covered the potential, and its schematics are not getting out. Alright, Chuki replied. Should I let the council know? No, if anything happens and I'm in the middle of the exams, Fu will be taking my chair in the room, and will not be swayed by anything they say. If her life is threatened, she will retaliate, but not until then. As my fiancé, she has that right by law. She is already aware of this, and as such is to be notified if I am not around due to a mission, or am not able to attend for any reason. The Hokage is aware of this. Naruto admitted. In regards to the armor, they will see it if I make it far enough to use it in front of them. Chuki nodded, Enko surprised that Naruto was talking business. When did you get this good at politics? I never took you for that type. Well, consider my past, the fact that I never truly trusted anyone that didn't truly deserve it, Hinata excluded. Wait, why is she excluded? Ayame asked, confused. It was kind of a risk I took. And a big one at that. She proved herself to me through that risk, and I know I can trust her. Back then, I wasn't completely sure, to be honest. I can easily say I am glad I took the risk. Naruto replied, with a bit of regret. I know I should have trusted her now, but given my childhood, do you really think that I would at that point when I still had a few doubts? They all saw the logic there and nodded. And they called you an idiot in all sense of the word. Enko said, drawing a glare from Ayame. Was I the only one that ever truly saw the gem they were dulling? Because if I was, then this village doesn't deserve your presence. Only a select few noticed, if only subconsciously. There's Iruka, Gigi, you and Hinata, though she didn't really care about that. Anyone that saw what I was capable of then will be surprised at the upset that I had caused with what was possibly the biggest prank ever, along with an S-rank mission before I even got a team. Which, by the way, was used to get evidence for the execution of an elder that was truly against the Hokage himself. Wait, you mean? Chuki's eyes were wide. Yup, the mass chaos that no one could figure out the cause. Was my doing. All for a distraction that I needed to get the evidence I needed, which I already knew where it was. I was at the stand at that point, with Iruka-sensei, even. He wasn't even aware that it was something that could turn into an execution if brought to light. No one but the Hokage, and those in this room know of it. Not even the Anbu are aware of it. As such, the council only noticed after Danzo was exposed without his presence. That was my first council meeting. And I enjoyed the majority of it immensely. It's extremely fun watching the people that made your life hell squirm. I'll admit I had fun watching. Chuki added. For some reason, I'm just so good at getting under another person's skin. Naruto said. It's a quality that I use as needed, but is exceptionally useful in politics. And I love it. I'd love learning how to do that. Any advice? Chuki asked. Normally, one would need to know their enemy. I've had this knowledge in my possession, and I never used it before that meeting. They all nodded. The next is knowing how to answer a question without revealing everything. I had gotten special training from the Kyuubi himself in that regard. Believe me when I say, going around the elemental nations for 4 centuries at the least, and no one knows who you truly are all that time, you're bound to pick up a few things. All my skill in politics is from my training with the Kyuubi himself, though I'd keep that on the down low. Damn, that's got to be helpful. Enko murmured. That's an understatement, Naruto said, looking at Enko. The fact of the matter is, he's helped me more than most would ever think. His presence may have caused trouble, but it also kept me alive. How do you think I could escape Anbu with such ease? From age 7, my senses were growing on par to an Inuzuka's nose. By 9 they exceeded that level, and I didn't notice until later on. In hindsight, there were a lot of things I could have used to my advantage, millions even, but I didn't. Damn, that's got to be good for you. Chuki stated. Got an exact number. I wish. I doubt that the entire Hunter Ninja division has the same amount of kills among them in the past 20 years as I have found in mere hindsight. To be honest, with everything I found out, I could have easily destroyed the village from the inside out if I wanted to. Yet I didn't, nor do I plan to. I don't get it. With that kind of knowledge, anyone in your position would have taken it and used it against them. Enko told him. Why didn't you? In a way I did. Naruto countered. The next meeting that comes up and I actually attend, is going to have the new defenses mentioned. I'll be the one talking about it, and since 3 people in particular are strengthening our defenses under the guise of D-rank missions. Well, I've only been asked to provide for the Hokage Tower, Anbu HQ, and the village itself. Clan compounds and stores are being taken care of during D ranks. I love it when mere genin are being made to outrun Anbu that have no idea where they will strike. Seriously, when I could outrun Anbu as an academy student, it was just from having a little fun. The true details are outlined beforehand, and they have to pull it off with just a goal and supplies. Opposition is unknown, though usually Anbu, and they can't be caught until after a certain time frame. How they get in is up to them, and so far, none of them have pulled off mine. They can get in, pull it off and get out, but they have never outrun their pursuers. Damn, it makes people wonder how the hell you did it. Enko added. When you get a question every few weeks as to how the hell I did all that as an academy student, I can believe that. Naruto replied. Finally getting the respect you deserve, Ayame asked. Let me tell of one time it happened. Naruto said. Flashback. Naruto was walking down the street when a genin was caught right in front of him. The Anbu looked at Naruto, who caught the genin in the Anbu's hands. Let me guess, AD rank to prank something. The genin nodded, still having trouble outrunning the Anbu. Another nod. I think I know you from somewhere. I graduated during your first attempt, Naruto. The genin replied. How did you manage to pull all those pranks off and not get caught? It just seems impossible. Naruto chuckled. Well, apparently you failed in your mission. The genin looked down, as Naruto signaled the Anbu to release him, and go after the others, mouthing, I got this. It nodded and left. Let's take a walk. They're going to capture your teammates anyway, and since you were already caught, unless your teammates can complete getting away, which I somehow doubt by the way, you fail the mission. Naruto motioned for him to follow, and he did. They walked to a nearby park and sat down on a bench. You want to know how I did all that? The answer is quite simple, actually. I know these streets better than even the Anbu, and even then I know the forest better. Naruto admitted. If you didn't notice, the spot I lose Anbu most often is in the forest. I always have Chunin or higher after me, and after a while, Chunin, aside from Iruka Yumino, stopped following me and let Junin and Anbu chase me. You want to know how I got away from everyone but Iruka-sensei? The genin nodded. It's because I've spent most of my life running from threats. This shocked the genin. My entire life it's been one beating after another. By the time my 5th birthday hit, I had already had 1,000 or so attempts at my life. I never cried at their barbs, and definitely not in front of them. I had been pulling off the impossible from day one. Anyone else would have lost their sanity. What's more is, if I were truly what they called me, the village itself would have burned to the ground by that point anyway. But as you can see, it's still standing. The genin was surprised, but formed a question. How did you manage to escape all of them? Any tips, maybe? Well, normally those are tools of the trade, but I believe I can give them out to someone else. Naruto replied. Okay, here's the first thing you need to know. My senses have improved to near impossible levels. This doesn't mean my eyes. I mean my ears, nose, hell even the touch of the wind itself, which was only something I picked up on after I became a genin. I had been doing so subconsciously. I used every sense I had which, in hindsight, seemed to double or even triple in the forest. Put simply, if I'm in a forest for a month, I can survive easy. You're at your best in a forest. Why? Are you aware of the reputation of Training Ground 44? A nod. Did you know that I sometimes trained in there during the academy? He shook his head. In all honesty, that forest is more of a home to me than my own apartment. I found out later on I can enter any forest and literally feel the wildlife greeting me, as if I truly belonged there instead of where I'm at. The forest is my natural habit, so to speak. It helps me more than the village itself. It's all experience. You can't expect to learn how to outrun Anbu automatically. If you do expect to, you severely underestimate them. Then what can I possibly do? Train your speed, cunning, and stealth. I myself didn't bother with stealth, but my cunning came somewhat naturally, and my speed came from years of experience. In the process, Iruka was the only one to catch me anytime after my second fail from the academy. The Anbu couldn't catch me. I always managed to outwit them. Not easy to do, mind you. You've been learning things in ways that no one else would. He ended up asking. Now you're catching on, though I can only explain in hindsight. Naruto admitted. If I were to explain this to you before I graduated, then I wouldn't have been able to tell you anything. I was a dunce when it came to academics. Plain and simple. My experience during the academy got me somewhat ready for the real deal. Pranks are similar to search and destroy missions during war, and getting away from Anbu. Well, that's basically like knowing your pursuers are better than you, and still managing to outrun them. That's the true reason for these kinds of missions. At least in my case. So you can run and hide from basically anyone. If I don't want to be found, I don't get found. Plain and simple. I can even hide from Anbu for days. Once I lose them, I'm usually gone for a few days to let it cool down, in case you didn't know. Naruto admitted. The only one to ever find me was Iruka, and he's an ex-Anbu, who is now a Chunin instructor at the academy. I have effectively taken the pride of this village, and crushed it in my hand, as a mere academy student. Anyone that underestimates me, if I turn my full tactics on them, let's just say that if they aren't dead, they will wish they were, or kill themselves. You really have earned the title Demon King of Pranks. No one can match you there. And that's why I actually like that title, unlike the others that I have, aside from Most Unpredictable Ninja. Those two, I actually earned. I wasn't branded with them, like I was with the rest of them. Anyone who underestimates me immediately wishes they hadn't when I unleash myself. Even an elite Anbu, who used to be an Anbu captain but is now my Junin sensei. And even after all this time, with his training as well, I still surprise him in spars. By now, he's gotten used to it. That's scary, the genin admitted. Yeah, but this is coming from a guy who could prank the Hyuga clan several times and not get caught once. At this point, if I wanted to I could easily take out everything notable in this village, and no one would be able to stop me. Good thing I don't want to. That would mean I gave in to everything they did to me long ago. I'm not that kind of person. A year ago, I could have just said, screw it, and taken out everyone, and no one could stop me until after I had already done it. But I didn't. It's not in my nature. You are not normal. You think I didn't realize that? Naruto asked. I know for a fact, no normal genin, much less an academy student, could outrun 3 full squads of Anbu, plus at least 10 Junin, and still not get caught. With me, normal went out the window at 4. I remember reading somewhere about something called a demigod. It said this. Normally, it isn't a good idea to give a 7-year-old girl a knife, but when you're a demigod, normal rules kind of go out the window. I quote Rick Riordan with his book Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Last Olympian. Percy says it in a vision of Annabeth's past, when she is found by Luke and Talia. No, I do not own this. If there's one thing I know about myself, it's that my life is filled with events that could hardly call me normal. The impossible is an everyday reality for me. If anything, I am the living embodiment of impossible. That is one thing that few people could claim as the truth, and not lie. With a life like mine, I shouldn't even be sane. Yet I have more sanity than most war veterans. What does that tell you? Damn, so how do you do it? You know, pull off the impossible. Unfortunately, that's something you have to learn on your own. I can't even tell you that, as even I don't know. Just know one thing, I have always been called weak and stupid. I was told that I would never amount to anything. At one point, that would have been true. When I was 2 I was weak. When I was 9 I was an idiot. But what they never saw was the potential. Even I have broken the potential that I thought I had several times. When you think you've reached your potential, push yourself further. You may find yourself wrong. Naruto got up and looked into the distance. Looks like your teammates have been captured. Let's get going to them. How do you know? There are 4 Anbu surrounding one, another Anbu with another, who seems to have that Anbu's chakra surrounding her, though faint, so she's bound by chakra ropes. So yeah, let's get you to your teammates. Keep that tidbit of information to yourself though. I can't really expect you to understand the full situation with me, but with that, at least I know that if you don't respect my skill, you acknowledge it. I've gone far beyond respect for your skill. Your skill in this regard is literally impossible, but you made it seem easy. If there's anything one can respect you for, it's your ability in pranking. And that's why I like the title Demon King of Pranks. I can do almost anything in this village, and no one would seem the wiser. Let's go. They walked off, and made an unexpected turn. Why are we going this way? To intercept your teammates, Naruto replied, before he jumped on top of a roof, the genin following him. Within 3 seconds the Anbu and 2 genin appeared right in front of him. Like I said, I know this village better than almost anyone. Get going with your team, Naruto said, before the Anbu took the genin with him and left. One of the Anbu stayed behind. What exactly did you do with him? Nothing too bad. Just sated his curiosity of how I managed to do what no other genin can seem to do. I can narrow it down to one word. Experience. You should get going. The Hokage isn't fond of tardiness, and barely tolerate Kakashi's tardiness. He doesn't need another one. Flashback end. And that's that. Naruto finished. You can't fault me for doing something that no one should be able to do logically. Anyone that tries, will fail at the prospect that knowing my main specialty is not pranking, as only 4 others know this. This surprised all of them. Oh, and what is that? Enko ended up asking. The impossible is my specialty. Second place is the batshit insane. Third place goes to pranking. Naruto replied. Anyone who looks underneath, and then goes even further than that can see that. Unfortunately, not even Kakashi Hatake, who can see underneath, and still look further, hasn't realized this. He has realized that I have been teaching the team better than he could, and has let me do so, and even took some of my training techniques himself. If I didn't know any better, I lead the team better than he does. Damn, if he didn't go through a war, I'd say he was completely incompetent. Enko added. Yeah, but then there's the Sharingan, which he sometimes uses in our spars. Something I get past constantly. Naruto admitted, proudly. All it does is make him tougher to beat. Sasuke and Hinata can't get past it on their own, but when we pull from my ninja handbook, which they both went through and memorized each page, we take him out every time. My ninja handbook consists of plans that no normal ninja would even bother to think of. At best, my sanity would be questioned by the time the first 30 pages are read. I even let Kakashi go through it once, just to sat his curiosity. Needless to say, he saw the underlying purpose. Which was? Ayame asked. A series of moves that normally wouldn't make sense, until you were already on the ground, unconscious, bound, or dead. Even Zabuza Momochi, an A-rank rogue that my team had encountered, fell to one of them, and I wasn't even there to witness it. Damn, kid, can you say score? Enko was glad at his accomplishment. Yeah, but I'm not giving you a copy, though. Naruto replied, causing her to deflate. You're too accustomed to the usual handbook, or your usual style of planning. Those plans only suit certain situations, and even then there are times we don't use it. My team doesn't train the usual way. We train in a way that is so far out of the ordinary, you probably wouldn't call us Konoha Shinobi. And yet we're supposed to be Konohagakure's signature team. Sandaime had Team 7, which ended up becoming the Sannin. Jiraiya had Team 7, who had the Yondaime Hokage in it. The Yondaime himself had Team 7. Kakashi himself was in that team. And now I'm in it, the most unpredictable person, ninja or otherwise, you will ever meet. Then there's the last Uchiha, who I stopped any possibility from going rogue, and the Hyuga heiress, who I not only got out of her shell, but turned her from a helpless girl with no self-esteem, to a confident kunoichi, which no one would ever believe was possible. Naruto then paused as a thought occurred to him. When did we get so far off track? Enko, Ayame and Kyuki blinked and then shrugged. Okay then, what were we talking about? Enko asked, earning shrugs from Kyuki and Ayame, but aside from Naruto, earning their attention. You know what it was. Combining Onamaru's Dango stand with Ichiraku's ramen stand, and our involvement, Enko. Naruto told them, earning a gasp from Ayame, who was surprised at forgetting her own idea. And I know why you'd gasp at that, Ayame. It was your idea after all. And I'm all for it. Enko blinked. If you're in, then so am I. She grinned. Thanks, Kyuki said. Don't mention it, old man. Naruto replied. We can do this tomorrow, as the Chunin exams don't start until next week, and it's already getting late. They all looked out the window, and saw he was right. Kyuki then turned to Naruto. Before you go, Naruto, how do you manage to pay without anyone, even me, to realize it? That is a trade secret, Kyuki. Naruto replied. Something the Kitsune are proud of. Only Hinata and I are aware of it. Naruto then smirked. I'll let boss know you asked, though. He then puffed out, signifying a shadow clone. All three of them blinked, before Enko said something. How long did he have a shadow clone here? The other two shrugged in response. Naruto, Hinata and Sasuke were walking through the academy. Naruto looked miffed that Sasuke was there. Sasuke put up the aura of arrogance again, and Hinata, well, she was just being a little more confident than before. They have a permanent mental link for this, in case something came up, and no one else should hear it. They up on a door that clearly stated room 332, however, all three recognized it as a genjutsu. Naruto spoke over the link first. Sasuke, time for your stupidly arrogant side to make an appearance. Tell them that even a dead last, such as myself, can tell the difference. Naru, you know I don't like it when people insult you. Actually, Hinata, he has a point. The old me would make constant barbs at him for lack of ineptitude. And then he'd get defensive about it and yell at me. Sasuke told her. He's right. This is just playing the part to the maximum. Naruto added. You may not like it, Hina, but it's necessary right now. When we reach the second portion, that's when the masks come off. Fine, I'll hold myself back. You can hit him, but use a fist, and not Jiyuken influenced. Make sure it hits the head. Naruto stated. You trying to cause me brain damage? Sasuke asked. If I was, I would have said add in the Jiyuken. Which I just told her not to use on you. We'd need you for the exams anyway, and doing that now would counteract what we need. They were all silent after that, before Sasuke made his presence known. Get out of my way. And drop the genjutsu while you're at it. Even the dead last of my class can tell that it's only a genjutsu. Hey, Naruto shouted. God, I feel like an idiot. Hinata then bonked Sasuke on the head. Insult him like that again, and I might Jiyuken your nuts off. She told him. And now we have more weaklings to fight. I thought that's something you wouldn't want, as you detest fighting weaklings. Sasuke glared at her before hearing something. Sasuke, I'm about to hit you, dodge to the right. He did so, and Naruto purposely lost balance, though it looked like an accident. See what I mean? You're still a dead. He saw the look on Hinata's face, and remembered her threat earlier, gulped, and shut up. The others saw this and was wondering what the hell happened. There was only one person that saw through the facade, and he glared intensely at Hinata. So that's your game, huh? I will not be made a fool of by you again. And that blonde. He should have been the dead last of his class, yet he brought her to a point no one would ever be able to reach. Fate easily puts them at the bottom, yet they have both made it to the top. He stopped for a second and realized something. What if they were hiding everything beforehand, and then? No, that can't be possible. Neji, you okay? A girl asked him. HN, was his response. Team 7 was walking off, and he looked at a genin in green spandex. Let's go Lee. Lee looked at Team 7 as they walked off. He went off balance on purpose. If I weren't a taijutsu specialist, I would have thought he was just some dead last like myself. Of course, that was all an act. Lee got up, and followed them to the room. Room 332. Naruto, Hinata, and Sasuke entered the room after listening to Kakashi's protocol speech. They went in, knowing that Kakashi was putting on an act to appease the other Junin and the Hokage. They immediately found Kiba. Actually, Kiba found them, and made it known as his rash self came up to them. Sakura came up to them as well, acting like a bit of a fangirl for Sasuke, who she went through Sasuke, who simply smirked as she phased through him in surprise. And that's why I love the Izanagi. Don't overuse it though. The fact that you did that now is not a good thing. Naruto warned him. I know. But you should see the look on Shikamaru's face. Sasuke pointed out, causing Naruto to turn to Shikamaru. Troublesome. Looks like he got some kind of new jutsu to do that. Shikamaru stated. Shut up, Ino shouted. Sasuke-kun, I'm glad you could make it. HN, whatever. You guys should quiet down, you know. A male stated, as he walked up to them. Naruto made a retort that his old self make. Oh yeah, and what do you know? Oh, I know a lot. This isn't the first time I've taken the exams, you know. He replied. Kabuto Yakushi. Shit, spy for Orochimaru, as pointed out by the Kitsune and Phoenix clans. Play along as if we don't know. Naruto told his teammates who nodded mentally. Kabuto showed off his ninfo cards, and then he brought up participants, which Sasuke immediately took advantage. Sabaku no Gaara from Sunagakure, and Rock Lee from Konohagakure. Kabuto gave the information, which is the same as usual. Then Shikamaru got a little bold, which was unlike him. How about Naruto Uzumaki? He asked. Kabuto looked at him, and nodded before pulling another card. Do you think he found out about us? Hinata asked. No, but he obviously suspects something. Sasuke replied. Kabuto then revealed the information. It appears that he's done several classified missions, but other than that, nothing out of the ordinary. His taijutsu is downright horrible, his genjutsu is non-existent, but shows some aptitude for ninjutsu, especially with shadow clone jutsu. He looked at Naruto. You do realize that's actually a kinjutsu, right? Just because it's labeled forbidden, doesn't mean illegal, right? Naruto shouted at him. Kabuto blinked, and shrugged. I suppose not. His team is Hinata Hyuga and Sasuke Uchiha. Aside from his reserves, which are insane at best, and non-classified mission count, I have nothing else on him. He looked at Naruto. Someone seems to be going to great length to hide potential abilities such as yours. Naruto glared at him, but was interrupted by a group of sound genin, which Naruto, Sasuke and Hinata placed a reverse sound barrier around their heads to get rid of any side effects. Naruto made a complaint, but Shikamaru was eyeing Naruto for some reason, and it unnerved him. There was an explosion that stopped them, in which several Chunin, along with one Junin that Naruto recognized instantly, appeared. Alright you motherfuckers, I am Ibiki Morino, your proctor for this exam. No more fighting or instant disqualification. Now turn in your registrations and get your seat number. I want this done in 5 minutes. Anyone not done fails immediately. Everyone was seated, and 5 teams were failed by then. Ibiki then explained rules. Sakura questioned them once, but shut up immediately at his retort. After the test started, everyone got through test. Naruto, Sasuke and Hinata were checking the answers with each other, though Naruto gave a few answers that Sasuke and Hinata both found were right when they solved it themselves. They all finished the first 9 questions, and sighed. Naruto felt a chakra pulse from Ino, meaning she used her family's jutsu, which Sakura beat her out of soon afterwards. After 45 minutes passed, Ibiki signaled a pencils down. Alright, time for the 10th question. There are extra rules for this one. He gave rules that would make it pointless, but Naruto saw right through them. Trying to make us give up, is he? Naruto stated over the link. What do you mean? Ibiki Morino is the head of torture and interrogation. His specialty happens to be psychological torture, meaning he works on the mind. Naruto explained. So, don't give in to his rules. Hinata asked, thinking that was the answer. He's mainly trying to decrease those that pass. I'm going let it drop first, then do something that even you would expect from me now, and everyone else would as well. Naruto told them, as they both nodded. Timed perfectly, since he was finished explaining. He sent bursts of Ki towards some of the others, and several of them. The numbers were down to just below 80, and figured this was enough to piss off Anko. He slowly raised his hand, which was shaking a bit. Sakura, who saw this, was about to shout at him, but he slammed it on the desk in front. Never underestimate me. I don't quit, and I won't run. Even if I am stuck as a genin for life, I'm still going to be Hokage someday. So just give up on making me give up. Naruto yelled, amplifying his voice at the end. Everyone else was shaken from their fear when he finished. Are you sure? You can quit now, and save your team the effort or your failure. Did you not just hear me? Naruto crossed his arms. I just fucking said to give up on making me give up. What part of that don't you understand? He took a deep breath. Just give us the goddamn 10th question. Anyone that still had any doubt looked at him in inspiration. And that's how you rally the masses. He said over the link, earning a smirk from both Hinata and Sasuke, even though they were unnoticed. And that's why you're the leader of our squad. Sasuke told him. Kakashi's outmatched by you there. Junin Lounge. Kakashi, Kurenai and Asuma were sitting in a corner booth. You know, it's a little quiet without the genin around. Kurenai stated. Yeah, well, they'll be coming back pretty soon. Especially with the first proctor. Asuma stated. Oh, and who is it? Kakashi asked, feigning interest. Ibiki Morino. Ibiki, huh, Kakashi stated. I'm not worried about my team's chances. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out of it pissed off. Oh, Asuma asked. And why not? Wait, why is that a problem? Kurenai asked. Oh, you're new to the Junin levels, aren't you, Kurenai? Well, I'll enlighten you. Kakashi stated. Ibiki Morino is the head of the TI division. The only one to ever scare him is on my team. I wouldn't think Sasuke was that good. Asuma commented. And Naruto is supposedly a dead last, but some are questioning the capability of our academy recently. And he's why. Kakashi stated. Would you believe me if I said Naruto leads my team better than I do? That would be impossible, Asuma stated. I wouldn't put it past him, to be honest. Kurenai added, causing Asuma to nearly whiplash. I've been hearing a few things among the genin. Recently, Ino's been finding out a lot of things that put Naruto's true abilities into question, and most of them are unreal. Which part? The rumors, or the abilities? Kakashi asked. Both, was her answer. And it confuses me to no end. Well, Naruto does in fact come up with things that interest me, and helped Sasuke, Hinata and myself take out Zabuza Momochi. He wasn't even present for it, either. Kakashi stated. He's got some kind of quality about him. The natural feel of a leader. And his teammates follow him easily, knowing he's got something to beat out anything. Hey, he's got nothing on Shikamaru when it comes to strategy. Asuma stated. I swear, that kid is more of a strategist than most Nara. Well, that's up for debate. Kakashi retorted lazily. I mean, Naruto's the only one that has ever gotten in and out of the Hyuga estate, while pranking them, and didn't get caught. But his biggest one, or so he says, happens to have made a diversion so the Hokage can get information for an execution that has been warranted for a while. Said execution was carried out a few weeks back. If he turned his pranking experience into a strategic mind, he would probably beat Shikamaru out easily. And he hasn't yet, has he? No, he has. Kakashi replied offhandedly. He just doesn't show it. Most of the unusual D ranks these days came at his idea from 2 council members and himself. The pranking ones? Kurenai asked. Wouldn't put it past him. They are eerily similar to search and destroy missions during war. Get in, set a trap, get out, activate it. Kakashi stated. Then they have to outrun the ones that pursue them, or evade them long enough for the time limit. My team is not allowed to take these missions, as that is just easy pickings for it. They'd do so, and they'd get out of range for any suspicion and then activate it. With Naruto, anything is possible. His potential, nearly limitless, if not limitless. Asuma sighed. I highly doubt that. I've seen some of his exploits, Asuma. He took on a demon single-handedly, and won. Kurenai stated. I thought an exorcist was needed, but all we needed was him. Turns out demonic chicken tastes better fried than grilled. Kakashi nodded. I can attest to that. He was the dead last, but with his potential, I'd easily place him as further along than Sasuke when the team was formed. I'm one of those that question the ability of the academy. A random Junin appeared in front of them, and he was panting. Kakashi. Iruka. Anko. Kiss. Asuma and Kurenai looked puzzled, but Kakashi's visible eye widened. You mean to tell me, Iruka and Anko kissed? The Junin nodded. And why are you telling me this? Naruto is involved, he said. Iruka threw a kunai without looking, and did this. He pointed to a cut on his cheek. What do you know? He actually did it, Kakashi stated, earning surprise from the others in the area. Once I found out that Naruto was close to Anko, I told him she really needs to find a boyfriend. He said he could get her one easily, but I doubted him. Oh shit, now I owe him 1000 Ryu. Kakashi was frustrated, much to Asuma's surprise. Who knew? Kurenai asked. Examination room. Anko had just entered, Iruka right outside. Alright maggots, listen up. Anko, you're early, Ibiki stated, extremely pissed. What got your panties in a jumble? She retorted, before looking into the crowd, spotting to a smirking Naruto. What's so funny, Gaki? Oh nothing. Hey, why don't you ask him what made him so pissed? Naruto replied. Anko then looked at Ibiki, and noticed he was pissed. Let me guess, you did this. Anko thumbed at Ibiki, earning a nod. Well, shit, looks like you win again, Gaki. I always do. Naruto replied, leaning back, and if you have anyone to blame for the numbers, it's me. Team 7 is out. He then left in a flame teleport. Sasuke then did the same, and Hinata sighed, taking a page out of Shikamaru's book. Troublesome. She looked at Shikamaru, who had a raised eyebrow. I take it the next portion is the Forest of Death. Anko nodded. Okay, now I'm out. She left in a whirlwind. Those three are just plain fun. And by the way, Ibiki. She turned to him with a sadistic smile. I told ya, didn't I? You owe me 2500 Ryu now. Fuck you, he replied. I'm sure you'd like to, but I'm happily taken. Anko winked. Training ground 44. Tomorrow. 1000 hours. Be there, and don't be late. She left in a shunshin. Ibiki blinked, but then left in a shunshin. Junin Lounge. Ibiki entered immediately, and looked at Kakashi. He looked back, and noticed he was pissed the fuck off. Kakashi. Whatever my students did was their own idea. Quite frankly, they're better off on their own ideas than mine. He replied. And I have a feeling that it was Naruto that pissed you off, right? Ibiki growled, but nodded. Kakashi looked at Kurenai and Asuma. Pay up. Kurenai and Asuma pulled out 600 and 1000 Ryu respectively and handed it to him. You really enjoyed that, didn't you? Asuma asked. Hey, I can't deny that Naruto does the impossible nearly every day. I just make the best of it. Kakashi replied, before turning to Ibiki. Alright, now I want details on what he did. Ibiki sat down, and explained it. When he was done, Kakashi whistled. That's a downgrade from the usual. A downgrade? Asuma asked, thoroughly surprised. That kind of manipulation is easily cage level. Yes, I know. And I'm not changing my words. Kakashi retorted. I mean, he's even conned the Kyuubi not once, but twice. I think cage level manipulation is, in fact, a downgrade from that. I heard that via telepathy from the Kyuubi himself, not Naruto. How can you trust it? Ibiki growled. Would you believe it if he gave an exercise for chakra control that I had trouble with at first? Kakashi asked. It was originally for Naruto, since his control was so fucked up, but now that he went through it, as did the rest of the team, they can basically pull of A-rank jutsu with C-rank difficulty. Naruto pulls his wind element jutsu without hand signs, even A-rank wind jutsu, and within seconds. I'll be honest, I took a back seat when it came to training and the like. He's got me beat. Why do you think I like the damn Gaki? Anko asked, signaling she was there. I thought you'd be with Iruka. Kakashi stated. He's got kids to deal with. She replied as she sat down. How did you know anyway? Asuma pointed at a Junin who had a scratch on his cheek. He said it, not us. Hey. That's fine. It was him that threw it, anyway. Anko waved it off. Kakashi, if you see Naruto before the next exam, tell him I said thanks, and he was right. Oh, yeah. She pulled out a scroll. And give him this, if you can. Scar knows and I got it for him. Kakashi took it and nodded, before leaving. Naruto residence. There comes a time in every man's life that he wished he learned how to cook. Naruto didn't have to worry about this, as he could cook anything Fu wanted, and still stomach it. Hinata, on the other hand, not so much. She got used to the morning sickness I'm not sure if it's supposed to be there during the first week, to be honest. But she still can't get used to the insane food. Naruto even made separate dishes after a while, which Naruto and Hinata ate regular food, and she ate what she wanted. It was a compromise that was made, and all three were happy. Sweetie, do you really have to go in that forest? Fu asked. I kind of do. Naruto replied, before shaking his head. If I don't I can't be promoted, and since I already made preparations a week ago, I guess you can say I'm good, as is my team. I also noticed that Neji still holds a grudge against you, Hinata. Well, let me tell you what I think the cause is. Hinata then went into the story of the Kumo ninja that kidnapped her, and the subsequent death of Hisashi Hyuga, Neji's father. If I had to say anything, that and the fact he was branded are the two main reasons. Naruto sighed and nodded. Looks like I'll have even more fun with this. Because now, I've got another reason to get rid of that stick up his ass. Seriously, if he coughs I'd blame it on his fate stick. He still can't believe I did more than most would ever think is possible. When you're around often enough, people get used to crazy, batshit insane, or impossible events happening. Hinata admitted. And I actually like it, because it keeps me on my toes, and… well, there's never really a dull moment around you. Tell me about it, Fu added. I mean, sure you're different, but that doesn't really mean much to most. Naruto nodded, when he noticed that Kakashi entered the area. Why's Kakashi here? Hinata and Fu looked at him. I'll see what it is. Hinata said, getting up and walking out. She met him in the cave as he entered. What's up, sensei? Naruto here, he asked, earning a nod. Message from Anko. He pulled out a scroll. And give him this. He also pulled out a bag and handed them to her. That one is from me, and if he asks why, tell him I found out about Iruka. She raised an eyebrow. Anything I should know? I think you should ask him that question. Kakashi replied. If he says you do or don't need to, I'm not going to complain either way. But in the end, it's his call. He left in a puff of smoke. Naruto, what happened concerning Iruka and Kakashi? Did he hand you a bag filled with a bit of money? Something I should know about. Hinata asked him. I got Iruka-sensei and Anko to go out on a date. He said I couldn't get Anko to date someone. Apparently, I did and he just found out. Hinata sighed mentally as she walked back in and tossed the scroll and bag to him. You'd be surprised how much of my money is from gambling. I'm aware, Hinata stated. What about the message from Anko? Naruto had just started reading it, and his eyes widened. What is it? Well, shit, he said. A few kitsune have gone in there, and she's the only one that knows. Apparently, they're waiting for me to get there, so they can help out if necessary. Shouldn't they be a bit more careful? Fu asked. I mean, that isn't really a good thing to go through, you know. The village hates kitsune. True as that is, this is bound to help out quite a bit. Naruto admitted. I'll be surprised if they take out a team from Konohagakure. However, if we get placed in the northeast sector, we could use all the wildlife to our advantage. They already have a list of who not to attack. Other than that, anyone is free game for them. They know to avoid our class entirely, they're going to avoid Neji's team, and they're going to avoid Gaara's team. Kabuto's team, if they see him, they kill him. That's a no questions asked point. They both nodded at that. We'll need to come up with a password of some sort. One that only our team would know. Hinata replied, earning a nod from Naruto. Sasuke's got his Sharingan, but only we know of its eternal Mangekyo form. Not even Kakashi is completely aware of it. He told her. I think this should continue in the mental chat room. Seeing her nod they begin talking amongst minds. Sasuke, can you hear me? Naruto asked. Yeah, what's up? Another annoying contestant. No, we're planning for the next exam. It's in the Forest of Death, and we have an advantage, but we need a way to know a real from a fake. Hinata stated. Hey, I think I can help with that. Kyuubi stated. What you got in mind? Fu asked. Fu's in here too, Sasuke asked. Got a problem with that? No, just wondering. What's the idea? Ask a random question that only they would know. For example, who is your team leader? From what I've seen, you say it's Naruto. In reality there is no true leader. Kyuubi stated. That would really confuse people. Naruto's supposed to be the dead last, but he's a much better leader than both of us. Hinata stated. When you think about it, it makes sense. You two and Sakura are the only ones that I've opened up to, minus Haku, but she won't be in the forest. My greatest fear is one thing for me. My first original jutsu, which I have yet to showcase, by the way. That's another good one. As for me, asking about my childhood, I'd only say this. Hell would be an understatement. Of course, some of this isn't exactly uncommon knowledge. How about our best role, or our worst role, and we only answer with one? Specialties. Sasuke asked. The impossible. Kitsune illusions. Swordplay. Everyone was a little shocked at Sasuke's answer. What? You use other swords? Naruto asked. I've been training with a few types, but yeah, I'm pretty good. Mom says it's my best skill in combat. I still need development in the relationship department. You and me both, man. Naruto stated. What's that supposed to mean? Hinata asked, though only Naruto and Fu saw the smile and instantly shuddered. I've got a ways to go to be good. I mean, before I let you in my house, I had never known love, or had any true friends, but still. Don't worry, I understand. Still, avoid using the tag out. Tag out? Fu asked. It's a Jinchuriki specific move that we kind of came up with. However, there is a theory that I don't really want to test out at this juncture, but would be highly valuable to know if it's possible. I'm listening, Naruto said. If we're performing the tag out, what would happen if the connection between us is disrupted, or cut off? And here's the theory. It may be impossible to reverse it until the connection is re-established somehow. Orochimaru has been reported to know how to perform the five-pronged seal. You're choosing now to tell us this? Naruto asked, incredulously. The thought just occurred to me right before I said it. Anyway, I thought you should know, so if you perform the tag out against Orochimaru, be prepared for the five-pronged seal. I can't use the damn thing, meaning I can't release it. That's gonna be a problem. Naruto stated. What about your armor? Wouldn't you be able to use it to stop the seal before it's placed? Sasuke asked. Well, the seal I use allows it to come out while I'm surrounding myself with flames. Naruto replied. Wait, I get what you're saying. If he's got me in a grip, and about to place it, I release the armor, thus making him let go of me. And you'd be safe from it. Sasuke stated. Cool. We show the core of the armor for another. Hinata suggested. Remember, Sasuke, cloak is needed tomorrow. Naruto stated. I know. We can't let the armor be let out. Among everyone else, Sakura is the only one I know is aware of the armor, and I know for a fact she didn't tell anyone. Ino might know. She's the gossip queen, after all. Hinata stated. However, there are only rumors about them if anything. There's only one rumor regarding Sasuke. The majority of them are about me. Naruto admitted. I've garnered a little too much attention to myself, and kept too many abilities secret. Several people have gotten suspicious. Even a few counselors have. Without Danzo, though, things are going to be pretty damn good. So, the test. Just ask a random question about the person, and listen to their answer closely. Kyuubi stated. That should be enough. Some don't complete the illusion and have to alter their voice for it. Keep in mind mannerisms, speech patterns, and even the way things are worded. If it even remotely seems like they are forcing their speech, then it's not them. Agreed. Got it. Did I ever mention that I love you, Kyuubi? Sasuke stated. What am I? Chopped liver? Fu asked. Come again, Sasuke asked. Sorry, Sasuke, but I'm male, and though I'm somewhat bisexual, I still prefer females. Where did that come from? Nanabe asked. I have no idea, Kyuubi admitted. Still, I'm liking this team. Alright, if that's all, I have to get some shut-eye. Mom's making sure I have everything I need. My sword is sealed on my body, so I can use it. Right, we should too, Fu replied. That means you too as well. Groaning can be heard from Naruto and Hinata. Do you want me to get out the frying pan? Naruto shot up and ran to his bed. I got to remember that one. Hinata said out loud. It always works on him. If not, get a squirrel. Either one works, Fu admitted. Good to know. The next day. Enko had just finished explaining the test, and Team 7 went to their gate. The test begins, now. Team 7 entered the forest with gusto, Sasuke and Hinata following behind Naruto and to each side. Then something came to him. Beast out. Sasuke and Hinata nodded, and transformed into one of their summons. Hinata went into a kitsune, Sasuke into a black dragon the size of Spyro, and Naruto into a small phoenix. Sasuke and Hinata went on the ground, while Naruto was in the air above the trees, keeping the other two in sight. Guys, incoming rain, 2 o'clock. Naruto said, causing them to send a few blasts of fire towards them, earning a few screams. Naruto went in and took them out easily, before finding the scroll. Sweet. It's the scroll we need. Head to the tower. Same thing as before, Sasuke stated. Right. They continued, but Naruto saw a lone grass ninja. Grass, 8:30. This one, shit, Orochimaru. Naruto then got right with them and led them as a kitsune. One tail, Hinata. We need to make it seem like we're just animals in the forest. There's a foxhole nearby. We go in there. They followed him on the ground and went into a hole. The grass ninja landed outside the hole. Kukuku. Seems like those little animals know a threat when they sense one. Or is it because they know who I am? Nah, they aren't that smart. I also thought I smelled Uchiha around here. I lost all scent of him a while back, and those animals may have stopped them, or covered their scents. Either way, he's gone, and I'll have to sense him by chakra. Ah well, the best prey is always the hardest to catch. The grass ninja jumped off. A nearby wolf saw this, and tailed her. One of the kitsune popped its head out. Is he gone? Yes, Naruto. The man went west. Another wolf in the area replied. It appears as though he was after the Uchiha. Are you ready to pass? Yeah, we are. Take a 6-point shuriken to a door on the door, and jab it into the ground right outside. The kitsune replied. Understood. The wolf went out and Naruto stayed in the foxhole. Inside the foxhole, Naruto, Hinata and Sasuke were in normal state, they said masked by the foxhole. Dude, you're a lifesaver. Sasuke stated. I told you, didn't I? I know this forest far better than most. Naruto replied. We already got a set, and now that we know who Orochimaru is posing as, we can let the others know. Naruto made a bright green fireball in his hand. Enko, you there? Gaki, what's up? We found Orochimaru. We lost him by going into a foxhole, but he's posing as a grass kunoichi. I was right. He's after Sasuke. Naruto stated. Is he marked? We avoided battle entirely. Hinata said. Sasuke isn't marked, and we're not letting him get the chance. I already asked a wolf to bring one of the 6-point shuriken to the front door of the tower. Naruto admitted. We'll be there as soon as we've got a point to get to. Alright, I'll see you there. Let us know what's going on. Alright, we're already ready, as we took out a rain team, thereby allowing us to head into the tower already. Good to know. Phoenix out. Snake out. The flame disappeared. Alright, for now, we rest up. Naruto stated. We can't let Orochimaru find us but. His head snapped to the entrance, from which a two-tailed kitsune appeared. Katuno. Hinata asked. What are you doing here? Thought you could use some help. There are currently 24 kitsune ranging from 2 to 5 tails in the forest. Now that I found you, we're going to escort you to the tower, if you're ready. Sorry, Katuno. Naruto stated. Let the others know they're on straggler duty. We don't need an escort, as we're using the shuriken travel, thanks to a wolf I sent to the tower. We'll be there in an instant. All we need you guys to do is work with the natural wildlife to eliminate teams. They're already in the know as to who to avoid, and who not to avoid. A wolf has been tailing Orochimaru. Don't attack him, or if they are avoiding someone, follow their lead. I understand. Still. No pranks, Naruto said. Unless it's on Neji Hyuga. Then get him with a small prank. He needs to loosen up. Ooh, goody. Katuno replied before jumping out. Naruto turned back to the others. Alright, let's get ready to move out. Naruto then tensed. It's in place. Sasuke grab on. He nodded, and grabbed a shoulder. Naruto then left in an orange flash. Hinata sighed, and left in a purple flash. Tower. Team 7 was now inside the tower, both scrolls in hand. They saw the message, and deciphered it with ease. They opened the scrolls, and Kakashi appeared. I must say, I'm impressed you made it so quickly. Then again, with what you did to Ibiki, I really shouldn't be. He said. Did you really doubt we'd make it? Hinata asked. Hell no. Kakashi replied. I know for a fact you would. I just didn't think it'd be this quick. They shrugged. I assume you already figured out the meaning behind the quote. They all nodded. That's the Chunin motto. Remember it for the next part. You're likely to need it. They all nodded again. Anyway, congratulations. Just then Team 8 entered right behind them. Hey Kiba, what's up? Naruto asked, happy mask back in place. How'd you get here before us? Kiba shouted. Burned a team, got the scroll, raced here. Naruto shrugged. The usual. That's the usual, Shino asked. Remember, this is Naruto we're talking about. Sakura interrupted. Things are never normal around him. If there's one thing we can agree on, it's that. Hinata admitted. I'm glad to see you kept your act in place. I know. We should probably drop it now, though. Can't help that, am I right? Sakura asked. Everyone in the area nodded. Shino then threw both scrolls, causing Kiba and Sakura to look at him. What did you do that for? Sakura asked. Shino simply pointed at the scrolls Kakashi was on. Oh, Kurenai appeared. Kakashi, your kids made it too. I told you, didn't I? Oh, and I didn't even have to explain the motto. Kurenai blanched at that. Pay up. Kurenai gave him 500 ryu. Using your students for bets. Yes, and I've got another bet going with Guy. He bet me 3,000 ryu that his team would beat you guys. Kakashi stated. I just saw him. He was in training ground 9. He was shadow boxing, so I can assume he hasn't been summoned yet. Naruto sighed. Guy hasn't entered the forest. Either by summon, or on foot. Although, Kurenai, I was right. He did appear. She froze where she stood. He didn't get any of us, though. One of the reasons we hightailed it over here once we got to a safe location. How did you do it? Naruto pulled out a shuriken with 6 points. Kiba's eyes went wide. I've seen 2 of them in the forest. They are yours. What you found are markers. Naruto explained. They allow me and Hinata to get around the forest pretty damn fast. Sasuke doesn't know how to transport to them yet, to be honest. Yeah, I can't get it down. Could be a wind affinity thing, but I'm not sure. Sasuke admitted. Everyone either nodded or shrugged, because they understood, or didn't care. Anyway, you've got a while to go. Rest up. For the time being, you could use it. Kurenai stated. Kakashi, I'll let the Hokage know of what happened. No need. Naruto stated. I already let Anko know, and she should have told the Hokage about it first, and then gone in with Anbu. What? Kurenai shouted. Hang on for second. Naruto held out his hand. Sacred Flame Telepath. A green flame, the likes of which Sasuke and Hinata recognized as what he used to talk to Anko last time. Anko, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you Gaki. Damn bastard got away. He even tried activating the curse. Kakashi paled. Naruto, can she hear everyone in the area? Is Kakashi with you? The team, Team 8, Kakashi-sensei, and Kurenai-sensei are all in the tower already. Naruto stated. And yes, we're all present. Damn, is it like an area of effect, that I can hear them? Or is it something else? Not sure, haven't tried focusing that much on this one, to be honest. Naruto admitted. Well, Kakashi, if you can hear me, then I'll tell you right here and now. He was surprised when I used it myself, and he had no control over it. You have a blonde Gaki to thank for that. Everyone looked at Naruto in shock and awe, aside from Kurenai who just stared. What about side effects? You know the original one had them. I felt nothing. Before, it would only react to emotions like hatred and revenge. This time, it didn't. Then I remember you, and that he might go after you. That's when it started to spread. That's when I started kicking his ass. Before long, he was forced to retreat. I was about to go after him, but before I could, I collapsed. Damn it, Naruto shouted. What made you collapse? I think it was using it for so long. It was a good 25 minutes. The Hokage said he'd be going to the tower when I told him about this. I should be there within 3 minutes. I understand. You'll have to get used to the excess chakra from it. It's either that, or it's regular foreign chakra, and the standard rules apply. Your chakra will fight it off, but only if you use it. Naruto stated, full business mode. The others had backed away, aside from Kurenai and Kakashi. The thing can be the difference between life and death, and not just yours. If you lose yourself to it. Kakashi stated. Kakashi, stop. I'm only feeling the effects of mild chakra exhaustion right now. The amount of reasons that could be possible are too much to discuss. We need to discuss this the moment you are able to. Naruto stated. How many others are with you? It's a team from Sunagaku. Gaara, Tamari, and the cat dude. It's Kankuro. A distinctly male voice shouted. All right, Gaara, is your team ready to enter? Yes, we are. We came across her on our way to the tower. Who did you take out? And to what extent? Naruto asked. Team from Iwa. Got the scroll. Death. Rain ambushed us. Death. Tanuki to Tenten with it. Okay, Iwa, I can understand. I'm not exactly fond of them or their hatred of my father, so I'm not going to complain. Naruto stated. Rain, you probably could have been a little more merciful. Or is it because? Naruto trailed off. Yes, that's why. You'd be surprised at how much I've found out, and she hates rain. Probably why he stuck to the desert. No kidding. Remember what we agreed upon. Naruto stated. You really think I'm stupid enough to forget about that? After all, I only hold Lady Shukaku. And you know what I hold. Naruto continued for him. Good. As long as you remember that, you'll be fine. Gaki, what the hell are you talking about? Sis, you remember what I told you before the exams began, but after meeting with the Ichiraku family? Naruto asked. We've got them here, you know. What are you talking about? Temari said. Gaara's in the know already. His team, I can't say for sure. Huh, didn't think you'd let them in on it. I only told Gaara, mainly because of what he is. He has been briefed on the plan, and is ready to act when needed. Naruto stated. You're not really going against the Cage, are you? Kankuro questioned. You're lucky that right now, we need all three of us to pass, or I'd kill you where you stand. Gaara stated, malice in his voice. Gaara, what did I say? Before you finish that, allow me to explain why I would. Kankuro, you pride yourself on concentration, yet you never noticed that he was acting extremely strange recently. And Temari. Don't bother saying anything, Gaara. I did notice, but I didn't question it for fear of treason. But if he's right. Then it's not treason, because I'm not disobeying the Cage, but a fake. Gaara stated. What are you talking about? Kankuro shouted, clearly surprised. First off, what is the status of the proof? Gaara asked. Found, sealed, and ready to go. Naruto stated. Also, you told me of the faulty seal. I'll be able to fix it up after the second exam. Noted. Alright Gaki, now that this is explained. Wait, I'm at the entrance to the tower. Enko said, before the door opened, a green flame matching the one in Naruto's hand right in front of her. They both disappeared. Enko, get yourself to the medical wing. Naruto said, even if the chakra exhaustion is only mild, if you're not careful, it will only get worse. And what happened to the Anbu that should have been following you as per protocol? They didn't make it in time. I went ahead, but they still didn't make it before these guys found me. Enko replied. Naruto nodded. Get going. You'll need to be at your best for the next point. She nodded and walked off. Gaara, you didn't let your team know, and now that they do, they are not allowed to tell anyone. Even your sensei, and definitely not your Cage. The Yondaime Cage is, in fact, dead. I have gotten a message from someone on the other side. It has been confirmed, and his soul is no longer in the world. Who do you mean? Gaara asked. Suzaku. Naruto replied, earning a nod from his team, and Gaara, but a confused look from everyone else. Who is Suzaku? You're not seriously cheating on her, again are you? Sakura said, dangerously. No, he's not. Suzaku is like a friend to his father's family. As such, she is friends with him as well. Hinata replied. I've already met her, to be honest. Sakura looked at her and nodded before backing off. Sasuke looked at Naruto. You think we should tell them? Not yet. Gaara, remember the rules I told you about this. They are to abide by them with the same penalties. Naruto stated, earning a nod. Kakashi then looked around. Where did Enko go? You didn't see her leave earlier. Naruto asked. I don't think any of us did. Kurenai stated. She's 5 stories above us. Naruto said, after pausing. Hey, the old man's here already as well. That saves me the trouble. See ya, sensei. Naruto left in a flame teleport. Hinata sighed. I should go after him, and make sure he doesn't make a fool of himself. He'll do that whether you're there or not. Sasuke stated. And if you're worried about him disrespecting the Hokage, then you shouldn't worry too much. The two are closer than they'd admit. What do you mean? Kiba asked. You never saw him outside of classes, except when he was running from pranks, right? Sasuke stated. Well, there were a few times he was at my place talking with Haku, and the Sandaime came in to talk with him, knowing he was there. Especially since he can't get to Naruto's own home. I'm actually glad he left his old apartment. Me too. His house. Oh god, the first time I saw I thought I had died and gone to heaven. This was before I even saw the house. Then he led me to where it was in the area, and I just can't do it justice. I was almost ready to punch myself thinking that I was either dead, so I would feel nothing, or it was just an extremely lucky dream. Then he told me that there was a major difference between the two, and that calling the inside heaven just wouldn't do it justice. I happen to agree. Where is it? Kiba asked. I want to pay him a visit. You wouldn't be able to. Hinata stated. The place is its own pocket dimension. You can't find it without following someone that can enter, and even if you do, you can't enter unless he makes the exception. I can't, neither can Kakashi-sensei, or Jiraiya of the Sannin. Only 5 people alive can enter, and 3 of them are in this tower. Everyone shut up right then and there. Hinata walked out in the silence, Sasuke doing the same soon after. Kakashi looked at Kurenai. I'll be going soon. I've got some gloating to do. He left in smoke. Kurenai looked at her team. Do you get the quote? She thumbed at the scroll on the wall. They all nodded. Even you, Kiba. Hey, with these 2 around, I can't not learn anything. I mean, think about it, I've got a walking dictionary and social recluse on my team. No offense, Shino. Kiba shouted, toning it down when addressing Shino. None taken. After all, it is true. Shino replied. Kurenai nodded. All right then, I'm out. She left in smoke. Teammate left the room to look for Sasuke and Hinata. With Naruto. Naruto had just finishing the explanation. And that's about it. Sarutobi simply rubbed his temples. Why is it that you cause trouble more often than you do good? Don't hate on me, Naruto stated. Some people actually want to be like me. Namely, your grandson. He's too impressionable. Several civilians in Wave Country. Naruto pointed out, especially the orphans. Sarutobi was stumped there. Alright, you got that one. Now, as to what's going on. It's too vague to be considered a strategy. Sarutobi stated. Even when Kakashi-sensei also like the vaguer ones have come up with one of them being able to defeat Zabuza Momochi, with no casualties and nothing more serious than a few cuts and exhaustion. Because if that isn't good enough proof, I don't know what is. My team operates out of my textbook. Not the standard textbook. Our team's strategies are never clear-cut or precise. And currently, there is nothing that has failed with them in play. Naruto countered. Oh, and how are you so sure that's what beat him? Sarutobi stated. Simple. The plans I come up with aren't clear-cut or precise for a reason. If someone messes up with a pinpoint precision plan, then the entire thing goes down the drain. If you don't go that far with precision, hell, even go into a generalized plan only, you have more room for error, yet you can fix it easily by adapting the strategy to us, not us to the strategy. I have heard that we've garnered some attention in several of the minor countries. They're calling us Team Outcast. I've heard about Team Outcast, but I doubt it's you. You heard about it from Jiraiya, I'd wager. Naruto stated. Yeah, he heard it from me. Jiraiya entered the room from the window. And there's no way, you're part of Team Outcast. They are far too powerful, even if you were among them. And if what you say is true, then with the precision shown in each task they intervene in, there's no way you can be there. Naruto smirked. That's where you're wrong. This caught their attention. It's because the plan itself isn't so precise that we have less pressure when it comes to messing up, allowing for more precision in individual abilities. That's how we can be precise, and at the same time, use a plan that isn't precise. Jiraiya blinked at that. You got any way to prove that? Naruto unsealed a book, and tossed it towards Jiraiya. Check that out. It's not porn, hell it's not even a story. It's my strategy booklet. It's also what we operate out of. Jiraiya went through the first 50 pages. This is insane, he whispered. How many pages before you came to that conclusion? Naruto asked. 50 pages. Huh, usually it's 25 or 30. Naruto stated. See what I mean? Sarutobi stated. I didn't mean insane in a bad way, sensei. Jiraiya stated, earning confusion. These things are far beyond anything Shikaku has cooked up in a pinch. They are so insane they actually work wonders. He looked at Naruto. How the hell did you come up with this kind of shit? Pranking experience. Naruto shrugged. I basically took several situations and changed it from non-lethal pranking to battle strategy. How dangerous would you rate it for the opponent? What's the scale? Jiraiya asked. 1 to 10, 10 being deadly beyond comprehension. I'd give it about a 15. Jiraiya stated. If you want them dead, they will die. No question about it, especially with your team. Really, I'd put that more at an 8, to be honest. Naruto stated. Jiraiya paled. Oh yeah, check out page 203. Naruto stated. Jiraiya went to said page, and his jaw dropped. Crazy as hell in theory, right? A nod was his answer. And that's why they work. Let me see. Sarutobi got the book and checked it out. You're right, this is crazy as hell. On paper, but put us on the team of 3, Kakashi is not in the picture. Picture how it would play out for a second. Naruto stated. Jiraiya and Sarutobi did just that and then paled. Naruto, how is it that you can come up with strategies like this? No one, not even the best strategists in the village would be able to compare. Did you forget who you're talking to? Demon King of Pranks here. The only one to go into the Hyuga estate 10 times and not get caught. Naruto stated. Or was it 11? I forget which. Damn, that's how he did it. Sarutobi stated. Naruto, keep these strategies in a safe location. Not many can use them without knowing what to do with them. In fact, they'd probably write them off as junk. Naruto admitted. But then again, to take your words, they are too vague to be strategies. Those are the best strategies to use, because they can vary each time to better suit a situation. He then sealed the book. Before I go, he pulled out a scroll and tossed it to Jiraiya. I told you your original part. That is all you'll need for it except weaponry, and the clothes on your back. Jiraiya nodded. Got it. It has been a few days since Naruto met with Jiraiya and the Hokage. The second exam had finished about an hour ago. Enko was feeling better. Teams 9, 10, and the team from Sound finished since the day Team 7 got to the tower. As of now, Teams 7, 8, 9, 10, Gaara's team, and the Sound team are in an arena-like hall. Enko, the Junin of each team, the Sandaime Hokage, and even Jiraiya of the Sannin are all present at the front, staring at the genin. There was also the shinobi clan heads. Sarutobi walked forward first. Congratulations to all that passed the second exam. However, those of you left are too plentiful. For this reason, we will be forced to have a preliminary round. What? Kiba shouted, truly surprised. Sarutobi looked at him. There are too many of you left. There are lords, nobles, and even the Mizukage has decided to attend, though for an unknown reason. Naruto nodded, though the rest were confused. We need to keep it moving as fast as possible, while keeping it interesting. As such, the numbers must be whittled down. Nothing personal, just business. Everyone nodded. Another Junin, a female, appeared in front of them. Lord Hokage, allow me, Yugao Azuki, the proctor for this exam, to explain things further. Sarutobi nodded, and the purple-haired Kunoichi turned to the genin. Greeting everyone. I am Yugao Azuki, the proctor for the third exam. The preliminary round will be one-on-one elimination-based matches. You fight, you win, you continue. The way we shall choose your opponents is with this. She looked at Enko, who nodded, before a panel opened up from the wall. Note that the matches will be determined at random. Now, is there anyone that would not like to continue? If you do not wish to continue, then your team will not take the fall with you. No one spoke up. No one. All right then. Roll the names. She shouted over her shoulder, before names scrolled on the screen. Sasuke Uchiha. vs. Ino Yamanaka. Everyone that knew of Ino's infatuation did a double take. Team 7, Asuma, and Kurenai shared one thought. Ino is screwed. Sasuke had a different thought. Oh yeah, time to vent. Naruto and Hinata caught the thought, and shook their heads. She's going to get herself killed here. Naruto stated, plainly. Hinata nodded in agreement. Asuma looked at him. Don't underestimate Ino, kid. I'm not underestimating her. If I didn't know what Sasuke would be thinking at that declaration, I wouldn't have said that. What is it? Sakura asked, suddenly fearful. One word, vent, Hinata stated. Sakura grinned a bit sadistically, scaring Kurenai. Sakura. Don't worry, sensei. This is a match I'm going to enjoy. She replied. Ino will get her butt kicked here. The Sand and Sound teams were confused at this but kept watch. Ino Yamanaka against Sasuke Uchiha. Ready. They both nodded. Begin. She jumped back. Ino instantly put on a sadistic face. You're mine, Sasuke-kun. She said. You're lucky you're a Konoha Kunoichi. Otherwise, you would be dead. I'll settle for extreme torture. Sasuke stated, earning a bit of surprise from Ino. Sasuke's eyes changed, but not into the Sharingan. They went amber with a black slit, causing surprise from everyone who saw it. Minus Team 7 and Sarutobi. The moment Sasuke's eyes met Ino's, she was caught. Genjutsu Realm. Ino found herself in a place with a red moon in the sky. Where am I? Welcome to the Tsukuyomi, the Nightmare Realm. This is actually supposed to be a Sharingan-specific jutsu, and one you can't break out of. You're so cool. You won't be thinking that when we're done here. Time and space, even physical mass. I control all of them. I will break you, and then I will continue to torture you. Sasuke said, before he disappeared. Sasuke-kun, she shouted, before he appeared in front of her, Naruto doing indecent things behind him. Pound it. Come on. Ino screamed as she watched it, unable to blink, or close her eyes to avoid watching it for what seemed to be an entire hour, before the image dissipated. 71 hours, 59 minutes and 59 seconds to go. What? Ino screamed mentally. For what seemed to be another 20 days of torturing her mind, in mental prospect of him, he spoke again. 42 hours, 7 minutes, and 27 seconds to go. She screamed out loud. Now that you have nearly been broken mentally, time for the next point. Physical torture. Ino appeared on a cross, Sasuke appeared in front of her, a katana appeared in his hand. He stabbed her in the stomach. You won't be able to die here, unless I will it. I could kill you where you are now, but that wouldn't bring me any satisfaction. You're the only fangirl I have left. As such, I will be taking out all my hatred of fangirls on you. She would have gasped, if it didn't cost her breath. 4 more Sasukes appeared, each of which holding a katana. He stabbed her left lung, her right arm, her right kidney, and just below her waist. Another one sprouted from her chest from behind. This one missed her heart by an inch. Several other Inos appeared, all of which tied to a separate cross. She kept screaming until it all faded. Reality. Sasuke and Ino stood there for 3 seconds, before Ino collapsed, and Sasuke turned around. She's done. I'd be surprised if she woke up within 3 weeks. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Tsukuyomi. It's either that or one of the more dangerous ones. I wasn't planning on explaining that one, though. And how do you plan on explaining what you did to Kakashi-sensei? Say it was something that the dragons gave me. After all, I was using the Eye of the Dragon to use it. It's a neat way to perform the Mangekyo Jutsu without any true problems. I could just say that the Eye of the Dragon has a few similar abilities, but only a summoner of the dragons could wield it, and only after going through a harsh training. That's a good thought. Just one problem. Naruto paused. How do you plan on explaining what you do with that? Hey, you'd be surprised. I know there is going to be another month before the final portion begins. That's when I'm going to hone it, something I have yet to do. Good idea. Fu added. If everyone else thinks it's a jutsu from the dragon summonings, they may question how he found it, if only to add it into the village. It won't happen easily. If they ask that I do so, I'll tell them the truth. I didn't find them. They found me. They tested me. And I passed. Plain and simple. They still believe that I'm loyal to them. They are fools. Sasuke stated. Watch it, Sasuke. Hinata warned. You don't want to get hit for treason, do you? My loyalties lie with the dragons first. Naruto is second. The village is third. Naruto and Hinata shook their heads as Ino was taken out of the room, unconscious. Dosu Kinyuta vs. Choji Akamichi. This fight was purely canon. As such, I shouldn't have to explain it. Sabaku no Kankuro vs. Tenten Higurashi. Tenten and Kankuro stared each other down, the bandaged object revealed to be a puppet. Blows were exchanged. Weapons were thrown or shot. After 10 minutes of this, Tenten pulled out 2 scrolls, and placed them on the ground. I was hoping I wouldn't have to use this just yet. Kankuro was a little surprised at the scrolls, but even more when they turned into mist-like dragons that went skyward, before Tenten followed to the apex of them. Rising twin dragons. She continuously unsealed weapons and threw them at Kankuro, and his puppet. The puppet managed to dodge, but Kankuro wasn't exactly as lucky as before. After Tenten had run out of weapons, Kankuro smirked. Is that all? Tenten smirked, and flicked her fingers, before the weapons all rose and charged Kankuro quickly. He didn't expect this, but managed to avoid all of the strikes. He then flicked one finger and Tenten was suddenly paralyzed, before his puppet had her in a stranglehold. That was quite the surprise. I didn't expect that to come. But you still lose. Give up, or I'll break your neck. Needless to say, she forfeited. Winner, Kankuro. Next match. Everyone in the stands stood there, eyes wide at the next match. Hinata Hyuga vs. Neji Hyuga. Neji gave a sadistic look to Hinata. He was planning on enjoying her squirm. He was pissed when he realized that she didn't even cringe. She walked down to the arena floor, and stared at him with a blank face. Begin. You have already lost, Neji. Hinata said. Fate is on my side. You shall lose. Fate is not a part of this battle. Hinata retorted, causing Neji to scowl. Fate is. He was cut off. That is one reason you have lost. There are 2 others. Both of which, you are blind to. Hinata stated, pissing him off even more. My eyes see all. I never said your eyes were blind. I said you were blind. In the viewing room, Hiyashi was surprised at the verbal insult. Kakashi, just what did you teach her? He mused aloud. From what I understand, nothing. Sarutobi stated, earning everyone's attention. Kakashi Hatake does not train Team 7. He doesn't need to. All training is done on even ground. Naruto Uzumaki is the one that provides the majority of the training. What do you mean? A few months ago, she couldn't take an insult from him. If I recall, a few months ago, she was a shy, broken girl. Now, because of the team, she has grown, but has yet to bloom. Sarutobi retorted. Naruto has done more for her than he should have, but he has done well. I see. Yet another thing to rub in the face of the Hyuga elders. Some of them are still pissed she progressed more under someone not of Hyuga blood than from them. If they caught wind of this, they'd be calling for blood. And if they do, they'll get the picture the moment his heritage is revealed. Sarutobi stated. Hiyashi nods in response. Back at the arena. Hinata sighed at the lack of promising insults from her cousin. I was right. You have lost before the fight has begun. Your mental state is corrupted. That was the second reason you have already lost. And the final reason. She immediately appeared behind Neji, before hitting him once and causing him to blank out and fall on his face. Fate has lost its hold on me the moment I stopped living with the Hyuga clan. There goes a saying, those who don't follow the rules are trash. However, those that abandon their comrades are worse than trash. There is one more piece I believe should be added onto that. She paused, as he looked at her in pure hate, but unable to move. Those who are blind to the truth, and do not wish to see it, are worse than those that abandon their comrades. Hinata said, turning around. Proctor-san, I win. Yugao nodded her assent. Winner, Hinata Hyuga. Hinata went next to Naruto. That good enough for now. Naruto nodded. I wonder what Fu would think. You do realize I'm watching the entire thing with the clan heads, and the Sandame, right? No, I wasn't. Good thing too. Looks like I'm up next. Naruto Uzumaki. vs. Sakura Haruno. Sakura paled. Proctor, I forfeit. She shouted that. Sasuke stared at her. I don't stand a chance against him even if I'm at 100% and he were at 1%, without either arm, and missing a leg. Are you kidding? Naruto shouted at her. I've seen you train for a month. You're obviously better than you give yourself credit for. One of the many reasons why I don't stand a chance. I could give you a list of all the ways I could lose, but that would take days to write up, so that wouldn't do anyone any good. Sakura retorted. Kurenai was surprised at this, but hid it well. Kakashi I smiled. Well, Kurenai, it looks like I win that one, as well. You set that one up didn't you? She narrowed her eyes at him. Honestly, I was hoping for the Inuzuka. But Sakura works just as well, as she did forfeit. Remember Guy, you've got one as well. Kakashi admitted. Guy nodded his assent. Winner by forfeit, Naruto Uzumaki. Rock Lee. vs. Sabaku no Gaara. Lee instantly realized who his opponent was, and that he didn't have much of a chance. Flashback. Naruto and Gaara were sitting together, and Lee walked up to them. Naruto. What luck running into you here? Lee. Naruto asked, a little surprised. Oh, hey, Lee, this is Gaara. Remember our little talk about the Biju in private? Lee nodded. Well, he's like me. Lee looked at Gaara, who was surprised that Naruto revealed it just like that. Lee looked back at Naruto, who sighed. He then turned back to Gaara and bowed. Pleasure to meet you, Gaara. Please know that me knowing this will not affect my opinion of you in any way that could be considered negative, just like I do for Naruto. He has told me about the fuzzy in him, and I do not care one bit about it. However, if we face each other in the exams from here on out, I will forfeit, as I have a feeling that I will not be able to defeat you as I am. I might never be able to, depending on the abilities you get. Gaara blinked at that, before looking at Naruto. That's why you told him. Naruto nodded. He was the dead last of his class, unable to use ninjutsu, or genjutsu. He has a bit of fuinjutsu, but mainly storage. He is aware that who we have sealed within does not make us who we are unless we let them. Gaara nodded at that. I am afraid to say that I have a blood-crazed act up, and it will be staying up until after the exams are over with. Lee nodded. Do not tell anyone else about me, either. I may trust his judgment, but I do not trust you. I understand. This information will not leave my lips without your expressed permission, or I will forbid myself from using the flames of youth. Lee stated. With me and my sensei, that is better than you will get from an honor-bound samurai. Gaara nodded, knowing what he meant. Lee looked at Naruto. Naruto, Sakura-chan has been looking for you. She said it was important. Naruto nodded, and looked at Gaara. Looks like I have to go. Flashback. Kai. Lee got down there and raised his hand. Proctor, I am sorry, but I forfeit this match, knowing that my style will never beat his. Gaara inwardly smirked. Keeping to your word, I see. Why don't you kill him now? Because he is upholding a deal we have. The fact that he kept his end of the bargain means he is at least partially trustworthy. 2 forfeits in a row. What's going on here? Yugao asked. I know when I am outclassed on epic proportions. Gaara would advance even if I did fight. Lee said, before walking back to his sensei. Lee looked at him and sent a clear message. He is not one to be played around with. He can kill Junin with ease, and without blinking. Guy blinked. Why? He is only a genin in rank. His skill deserves Anbu or higher. Lee told him. There is also something else, sensei. Something is off about him. It is as if he knows everything about me, yet I know little to nothing about him. I am sorry sensei, but this is a fight I cannot win. Guy nodded. Lee, you are a good judge of your own strength, and can tell when you will never win. Why do you not do the same with Neji? Because even if he is stronger than me, I know him, and he needed to be taken down a few pegs. He is too arrogant for his own good, and it diminishes his flames of youth. Lee replied. Sensei, this is the truth, whether we like it or not. However, I now have an eternal rival myself. And it is not Neji. Don't tell me it's Hinata. No sensei. It is Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki. I have seen what his potential is. I am also striving for that potential. You're going to have a tough time Lee. Naruto said, not even looking at him. I am not looking for rivals, because I have too many enemies already. Kiba got knocked out by Tamari. And there goes dog breath. Anyway, I have several people after my head. I need to realize my potential before they make a move. The way things are going, I may not have enough time, but that will not stop me. Kin and Shikamaru fought for a bit, and Kin lost. The last two, Zaku Abumi and Shino Aburame stepped forward. Cannon fight. Ask and commit suicide. Yugao looked at everyone that was left. Will all of you who proceed please come down? Naruto, Sasuke, Hinata, Kankuro, Tamari, Gaara, Shino, Shikamaru and Dosu walked up to her in a line. Enko came up to them with a box. Pull a number from this box and wait for my signal to reveal, or speak. They all did so, and Enko got next to Yugao. Numbers. Naruto, 1. Hinata, 6. Dosu, 5. Shikamaru, 7. Tamari revealed an 8, but did not speak. Gaara spoke. 3. Sasuke smirked. 4. Shino showed his, revealing a 9. Kankuro had a 2 and pointed at Naruto. Why him? So, my first opponent is a cat. Naruto questioned, freezing Kankuro in place. Or is it just because he's a she? The makeup doesn't do much for a male image. It's war paint. It looks like it came from your sister's makeup drawer. He paused to look at Tamari. Probably something for her lips. Can't say for sure. Tamari instantly got a tick mark, before glaring at Kankuro. Kankuro. He paled when he heard her, and ran like Guy on steroids. He'll get what's coming to him. He's been taking my lip gloss and lipstick. They've both gone missing, and he always had the war paint after they do. Can't believe I didn't notice. And you call yourself observant? Gaara questioned. Tamari shut up, and walked off. I'll see you back at the room. Gaara looked at Naruto, who nodded. Everyone but Team 7, the Konoha Junin, and the Hokage were left in the hall, as the others had already left. Alright, Naruto. What news do the clans have? Nothing much is new. Everything is going according to our plans. However, Orochimaru has been getting a little impatient these last few days. He's definitely after Sasuke, though he is unaware of what the implications are at this point. Hinata, myself, and Sasuke will be training with our respective summons for the next month. Fu is going to the Kabutomushi. She will be staying there until after the finals. She is already aware of this, and she has agreed. I will not be training, as my team does not think I need to just yet. However, there is a bit of merit for Shukaku at this point. They are counting on her to destroy their enemies. She and I have already worked out an agreement. When the signal is given, I will be retreating into the forest, under the guise of losing it. When I am in the forests, I will attack all Oto shinobi, but if Konoha or Suna shinobi get in the way of the attacks, then it is their fault. Not mine. For this reason, it is my own piece to the plan. Lord Hokage, you better not die against the snake. Otherwise, I will bring you back, and I will kill you myself for your ineptitude. Gaara stated. Sarutobi nodded in response, ignoring the shocked looks on the Junin's faces. He has been posing as the Cage for a while. Do not attack off the bat. Wait until the plan is executed, but be on guard the entire time. The snake is gonna pay for what he's doing to my village. Well said, Gaara. Naruto stated. You're putting the village above your orders. That's good. He will not be easy to catch off guard. Sarutobi stated. Trust me, he won't know what hit him. And neither will the attack forces. Suna Nin are to be knocked out, Oto Nin, no mercy. Naruto stated. The Junin nodded at that, seeing that Sunagakure was being manipulated by Orochimaru. Unless they hit my traps entering the forest, of course. They'll be dead, anyway, as I plan on upgrading them from detainment to kill. This made all Junin pale. In any case, there's also the fact that I have another set of armor to finish making for the Uchiha. I have the design, and materials, now I have the time. If you do not hear from any of us, then do not worry. Naruto left in a flame shunshin, Sasuke following shortly after. Hinata sighed. Why am I always last? She left in a whirlwind. Gaara shrugged and left in a sand shunshin. Sarutobi turned to the Junin. Do you really think we should let him go through with planning against them, Lord Hokage? Yugao asked. Yes, I am sure. He is already making plans for a group of S-rank rogues that happen to be after his head. They won't get by him that easily. And I recently found out that he has turned his entire pranking experience into a strategy booklet. Jiraiya stated out loud that some of them are so crazy that Inara would lose to it on their best day. Everyone was surprised, and yet they nodded at that. Asuma was skeptical though, as was Shikaku Nara. Kurenai was standing a bit closer to Kakashi than most would think she should be, though Anko is the only one to notice. Everyone left, aside from Kakashi, Kurenai, and Anko. Anko looked at them. Alright, spill it. What happened? What do you mean? Kurenai narrowed her eyes. Just yesterday you were fawning over Asuma, and now you're after him. Anko questioned. I didn't tell you, did I? Kurenai asked. Asuma is currently cheating on me. Kakashi made a bet with me that he would be a lot better than Asuma. And since we aren't officially broken up yet. Payback. Anko raised an eyebrow. One reason why. Kakashi stated. However, she wasn't going to go for it at first. The bet was that Sakura would forfeit her match in the preliminary round. I said she would, but Kurenai said she wouldn't. The moment she looked at the board displaying her opponent, she forfeited. I don't know how they did that, but still. I lucked out there. I definitely wasn't expecting her to land Naruto as an opponent. Somehow, I believe this was all fixed. Kurenai stated. However, as per the first bet, I will give you the chance, but it is only a one-time thing. Kakashi nodded, understanding this. They both left in a shunshin.